Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Oh my God, we have a new champion!
And yes, welcome back to another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. I am your Shark Break Kid, and along with me tonight is none other than the one and only modern day Maharaja, Clint Bobski himself. Thanks for joining me, man.
Oh yeah, always a pleasure, good brother. Always
Dude,
a pleasure.
I think it's been a couple weeks here. We're kind of, we've been slacking, with our wrestling podcasting, but it's okay. We got a lot to catch up on, and we haven't even talked since the Royal goddamn Rumble. And man, we should probably start kind of there, right? To kind of get us to where we need to go, because there's been quite a few developments. Some of the greatest storytelling the WWE has probably, dare I say, ever done, let alone in the last 10, 15 years, or 20 perhaps.
Yeah.
Some of the best stuff really coming out of it, and yeah, so many developments, so much intrigue, so many ways things can go. And even on the AEW side, what a great time to be a fan there, they're kind of all roads lead to revolution for them at this point. So no shortage of things to talk about. And on top of that, after we maybe take a break later on in the show, we will even be doing Elimination Chamber predictions. So
Can you believe it's that quick? Elimination Chamber? I mean, I get it. I mean, I know we had 6 weeks from Rumble till Mania.
It was
so
a longer break than usual because they didn't do the day one thing this year. So there was no pay-per-view or PLE before, at the beginning of the year, like there was, like last year. But it does seem like, is this a quicker turnaround than usual between
2 weeks,
right?
2 weeks. But it was Rumble was 2 weeks ago.
That's it. I mean, so essentially a 3-week break in between pay-per-views is what you're kind of looking at.
So they must have had 7 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Because then they've done 3.
Sounds about right.
Is it really? When was Royal Rumble?
Rumble was the second week in January, or was it the second week in January?
No, it was the 28th.
28th. Okay.
January 28th.
All right, so right at the last week in January then. And now we've got the pay-per-view on the 18th. So, that's very
16 days.
Yeah.
So we will have hit 3 weeks, by next week. It's a pretty quick turn. I mean, it does make sense, I guess, because you want 4 full weeks before Mania for whatever is going to happen at Chamber. You need to then have 4 weeks to really build those storylines.
Absolutely.
It is a quick turn though.
It's a quick turnaround, but thankfully I think they have a lot to back it up this year, and they have a lot of intrigue in the Chamber. It doesn't seem like it's necessarily been overbooked. I can see another match, being thrown on there either tonight on tonight's Raw or, on SmackDown, possibly like one more thrown on there. And yeah, I think there's 4 matches. Yeah, 4 matches as of right this second. 4 matches scheduled for Elimination Chamber, but all of them are interesting. As a matter of fact, like all of them have a great deal of intrigue for me, how they will pan out, how the stories will pan out for Mania, and let's just get to that, because it starts really at the Rumble, right? Like especially with what happened. I think we all knew Cody was going to win, right? I think that was kind of a given from everyone. I personally wasn't like overly thrilled with that Rumble. I felt like, I love the stuff with like Gunther and Cody towards the end. Like, I thought the men's Rumble was great in that regard. It was great to see Gunther really being made as such like a long survivor of the thing. But realistically, I don't know. There's stuff for me. It fell short, and I feel like it fell short really because there wasn't really one surprise. Like, there just wasn't any. Like, especially in the Rumbles match, to me, like, I know.
So you're saying you were expecting Booker T? I'm the only sucker on this podcast.
I had heard it rumored before the Rumble. I had heard it rumored that Booker T was gonna be in it, and apparently that was kind of
less that he was in it.
I couldn't care less. It didn't move the needle then, and it didn't move it when it came out. But I guess even that was kind of last minute. It sounds like that was a substitution for the whole Ray being injured thing. That's what I heard, that he didn't know until like the day of or day before that they were considering him for the Rumble. And it sounds like he took Rey Mysterio's place.
But Ray was still counted as an entrant.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. They haven't
because you remember, I actually had this in my notes. So do you remember when on the Discord I mentioned something like what happened to Ray, and someone said like, "Oh, I think he got tossed out," and I just remember his music had hit, and that was me
just because I was drunk. I'm like, did he come down? Maybe he didn't. Then I thought I just like saw it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, well, no, he never even made it to the ring. He never came up. He never showed up.
Well, and then the story was that Dom came after him, and he was holding his mask and like trying to rip it. Yeah. He couldn't rip it. And so it was, he like beat up his dad backstage.
Yeah, I guess.
Right?
The insinuation
they
is
that it without
right.
really telling it. And they did a really shitty job of telling the audience like that was what happened. Right. I think.
Well, and they haven't followed up on any of that.
Well, so even further, then I don't know if you watched last week's Raw, but there was some stupid fucking bullshit.
The NASCAR race?
The NASCAR thing?
Yeah.
Where they're both there, and then Dom's trash talking. They're like, well, the only way to settle this is on the racetrack. Where am I in the timeline of this story? Was this before Rumble, or was this after Rumble? Because if this was after Rumble, like, no one even addressed what happened or anything like that. Then they showed that, and then Ray was wrestling on fucking SmackDown on Friday.
Exactly. No, in that 4-way match, right? Like, yeah, he was in that 4-way match, and it almost looks like there's more of a story brewing with, what's his name? Hispanic guy. Just had him. Escobar, right? Like they did some behind the scenes stuff with them. It seems like even before that, there was a story they were telling with Karrion Kross, which had nothing to do with any of the Judgment Day Dom stuff. Like, It all seems like maybe they can get it back on track, because I felt
they
like
have to be done with it after Mania, right?
Well, it felt like that was the blow off, that it would be the Dom Ray match at Mania that kind of ended the whole thing, maybe put Dom in his place, whatever direction they chose to go. It would, be the end of that kind of story and whatever. But to me, it doesn't really seem that way. Like it's It feels very up in the air. It feels very like they maybe started something, didn't want to finish it. Then Ray got kind of injured. Maybe that threw like a wrench in
And
the
then
gears.
you brought Edge back, and now he's beefing with
now,
Judgment Day,
and it seems
like
like
grabbing Beth Phoenix's ass all over the entrance ramp, and
and it seems like either they're doing a Finn Balor Edge match, down the road, probably at Mania. Don't really care, don't really want to see it. Unless Finn Balor has to win that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it really seems like what they're going towards, too, is, of course, some form of angle with Judgment Day, whatever members, with, like, Rhea, Beth Phoenix, Edge, and, you could throw any one of the three in there, but logically it would be Balor. In that scenario, like some sort of mixed tag match. Like, I can see them doing that at Mania now, too. So, like, all of it's, that was one of the things.
Well, but Rhea's got the thing going on with the title
with Charlotte.
Yeah,
exactly.
They've this is kind of all over the place.
It is. It's all over the place. But there were some good parts of Rumble of the Rumble in general, and mainly, I did like how Rhea won it. I thought that it was great that you finally got to see her dominance in that scenario. That was important because she's improved so vastly over the last year, and the Judgment Day thing, like, somehow she has made that. She's been the linchpin for all of that.
Yeah.
And so she's deserving of.
Well, and the way they finished that with her on the outside, like both of them on the outside, and then the way she flipped Liv over, like, I thought it was a good way to have her win.
And then even having Asuka in that mix with the Mist, and all those little elements, as well, I thought was great. Like, I thought the women's Rumble was probably better booked than the men's in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So happy that, like, they just beat Nia Jax down. Like, everyone was like,
no, but like, yeah, couldn't you just have like, what? Why?
I don't know why. I thankfully we haven't seen her since, and a lot of speculation was like, oh no, she's like back now. I don't think she's back now. I think that was a one-time deal, and I'm crossing my fingers that was a one-time deal. And that's fine. Like, it served its purpose. For a minute,
I think all of us were
there, I was like, oh my God, they're not gonna have her win the Rumble, are they? Like, so
she's gonna win the title at the Rumble and then join the Bloodline.
All crazier things could have happened. Thankfully, they didn't. Rhea looked great. It was the right decision. And Cody looked great. I did think it was a little chumpy to pull him out when they did. I thought he should have been brought in earlier into the match, if I'm being honest. It didn't seem like the fighting, like, spirit babyface to come in as he's the last guy, right? He was the last guy.
30.
Number 30. So to me, I don't know if I like that. Obviously, like, with Gunther's dominance, it sort of played into that story, and it did make Gunther still look good that they went so long. They had their own 7-8 minute match at the end of the Rumble, which was cool, and maybe even a nice foreshadowing of things to come, which
seems logical.
Seems logical.
Next feud.
So yeah, and great that Cody's winning it, or Cody wins it, and we'll get more to Cody later, but of course, the real story of the night was what happened pretty much post the, the Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns match. And again, none of us really expected Kevin Owens to be winning this match, but I don't think.
What I did expect was for them to go off the air after Roman won the match.
Yes. Not to keep going for another 10, 15 minutes at least.
I did not expect that. They got me.
And they did it phenomenally. Like, we'll call out WWE, of course, when it's shit, but
when it's good, it's
but
good.
When it's good, it's good.
It was brilliant. And I think I didn't even notice this, but Michael Cole said something in an interview that he said, if you listen back, the announcers didn't say a word. We didn't say
No.
a word for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We just let it play out.
I did actually notice that there was like one or two, I think, of like Graves, like, oh no, like something like that. But as far as actually like really
Like
talking,
commentating on it,
no,
yeah.
they weren't. They didn't. And that kind of made the segment, in a way, Roman has, over this last couple of years, he's done a very, very good job. And we hated it at first. You remember that first Jey Uso match where he was just like talking during the entire match? Like, Roman has become like a goat of promos that aren't promos that aren't necessarily on a live mic. Like, he's doing character work and talking while it's just like the ambient camera picking it up rather than, or microphone picking it up.
He does a ton of that.
He does a ton of that. And we were, I think all of us were a little, like it was off-putting at first. Now
it really does work.
Now it kind of works, and every bit of what they've done in building that character, building the bloodline, it's all paying off in the biggest way. It's making Elimination Chamber so much more exciting, but it's also making the Cody feud so much more exciting at the same time because of all the possibilities. And then let's not forget, we've got Heyman, and you've got Jay and Jimmy and Solo, and there's almost a literal story arc within every single person in this spider web of the bloodline. And that only gets then further, developed with the whole introduction of Kevin Owens into this scenario, right? Like the dichotomy of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, their history together, like Sami can't stand the beatdown of, this is unnecessary type thing for Kevin Owens. And even though they're not necessarily best friends, there's this brotherly bond that he can't let it happen. And, the final realization is that Roman's been playing them all like a fiddle this whole time. And that's what's so great about, in my opinion, this Roman character is you look at him and you look at like the toughest face of the company, biggest badass possible. But all he's fucking doing really in this character is playing a chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
And that's what the beautiful thing about it is it's this like total like, oh my God, like there's like a black and white to Roman, and he is won a ton of matches and really like has been undefeated, right? For however many days, like close to 1,000 days or something now, right? But how has he done it? It's always been through some form of nefarious means. Yeah. And that's, for me, the greatest part of what this story is being told, is that, like, Jimmy and Jay have both been screwed as well by this. Like, it's the only one, I guess, that hasn't is Solo. But Solo's just an interesting guy. Like, I think they have big plans for him because they're protecting him real well.
Yeah.
Yet it feels like he's always been just almost more of a hired gun, kind of an outside, like he doesn't, like, he's part of the bloodline, but he'll do what it needs to be done. Like, I feel like Solo can just be Solo and just go off on his own and do his own thing. And that's, part of what I wanted to discuss on tonight's show is, it all wraps up into everything going into Elimination Chamber. But, like, what do we do here? When the inevitable bloodline breaks up, how do you place those loyalties between everyone? How would you do it at this current stage? And I guess this will get into fantasy booking for Elimination Chamber too, We will do official predictions later, but there's no, reason we can't speculate on an upcoming pay-per-view and how it'll shake out, because really, I want to know what you think and how it should all play out with the Bloodline specifically.
Oh, it's a loaded question, man.
I mean, it's so many options, though. There's so many options.
I will say this, as I'm about to answer that, touch on a couple of things you just said. I will say I do really like how they've been telling the story, like the way they've been doing it over these past couple of months, where they don't have, the whole Bloodline there every SmackDown or every Raw. Like, so you are able to showcase those other storylines, like this last Friday on SmackDown was a perfect example of that, with the Usos and then Sammy, being there, but like Solo wasn't there, Roman wasn't there. So you're able to focus on that part of the side story of this, and the fact that they were I actually watched it the next morning. So it was like the 1.5-hour version on Hulu or whatever, which just takes out a bunch of the commercials. But I mean, throughout that 2 hours, they were basically like, they kept having little bits that were keeping you watching. Like, I kept wanting to fast forward, and then I was like, no, I'm just going to keep watching because there is another little segment that's happening, right?
It's been fantastic that they've been smart enough to not do just a long-term story throughout like the last couple of years, but they're telling it's the through line of Monday Night Raw and a lot of SmackDowns. Okay. It's constantly like they're telling an evolving story throughout the episode, which they've been guilty of not doing for so many years, and it does keep people engaged. I hope they've learned lessons from this whole experiment, and I think Sammy is a big part of that experiment, because it wasn't supposed to be this way in the beginning, right? Like, it was supposed to probably go a different direction, but they've learned and they've adapted, and they know where their bread is buttered at the moment with this story.
I'm really interested to see what happens with Jay, Sam, like the Usos and Sammy, especially after SmackDown, because I will say it is kind of funny that I do like that Jay showed up, came in through the crowd, that sort of thing. Like, it was great, but he's talking to his brother. He's like, I got you, Us. You're my brother. I never leave you hanging. I'm like, well, the story up until this point is you haven't contacted him in 13 days.
Yep. So you're kind of leaving him hanging.
You left him hanging very much. Like 13 days, and then you just show up right at the end. Like, most people would assume you're dead.
Could you just send a text, man? Yeah, I'll be there. Like
I'm your brother. I'll always get you. But that aside, still great.
But that's but that could actually be, a realistic piece of the puzzle in all of this. Would they be so bold at this point to separate the Usos? I contend that they should.
I think they should too, because they can always come back to it.
Always come back together, and that will make for even a greater story down the line as well. If I'm doing it right now, I absolutely do a Jimmy goes more, Jimmy goes heel as well. They are heel, but Jimmy stays heel, aligns with Bloodline Roman. And I do think that you have to have kind of a Jay on the other side that aligns with Sammy. I think that that's the best way, but you've got to, that all has to come, I believe, later down the line at WrestleMania, when I do think it will be the predicted Usos KO Sammy thing. I think that is probably still what's going to happen. But even that whole match will cause, in my opinion, the real Bloodline stuff, real fracture between Jimmy and Jay and how they move on in that regard. I think both of them have solo potential because we've seen it with both of them. More recently, of course, with Jay, like main event Jey Uso was such a thing, and that plays into such the role of all of this. And Jimmy wants his shine now too, so you can incorporate that. And if you want to do tag team stuff with the Usos, you can even have Jimmy and Solo team for a little bit and do something like that. So that's on the table. I think that for me is the best way moving forward. But there's got to be, of course, a more pronounced Sammy Roman thing, which of course is going to happen this Saturday at Elimination Chamber. And again,
Do you think this is where KO comes back into the storyline? Because he's been kind of out.
He's been absent since that beatdown. We have not seen him purposely. I do think you see KO on Saturday. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get, because there's no stip to this match, right? It's just a straightforward Roman Sammy match for the titles.
No, but it's for the titles.
For the titles. But there's no other stipulation to it that we know of at this point.
No.
So I think we're going to get, of course, we're going to get some fuckery and Roman will win. But the more important thing is what sort of fuckery. We're in Montreal. We've got to give people something, right? I think they're going to do a dusty finish where you're going to think for a second that Sammy actually won, and then they do something to be like, no, Roman's foot was on the rope or under the rope or something.
They're going to do some new screw job.
They're going to do some new screw job because Montreal.
Yep.
And then Roman will use that when the match restarts to get a quick advantage, and he will beat him and he will retain, after which the beatdown will ensue on Sami Zayn with whatever members of the Bloodline that are aligned to him. They will be attacking. KO returns to return the favor to Sami in the previous way. Of course, Montreal erupts, hometown boy, saving the other hometown boy. That's how you end the pay-per-view. Like that's in my opinion what happens. I don't know if you save it for Mania or you do it here, but do we get a clean-cut Sami Zayn with the old music at some point?
I think so.
I think the place to do it is in Montreal, because of the pop that it would get. But I can also see them waiting until Mania to do that with that crowd and like because Sammy doesn't,
because he showed up on SmackDown and still gave dap to Jay, so he said, "I acknowledge you."
That's it. He acknowledges Jay.
He said, "I acknowledge you," and he said, "Better be careful saying those things around here." Exactly.
I did like that even on this past Monday when they had their like secret meeting, that one you're talking about by the trucks outside, right? Like all that backstage. I did like that they didn't pretend it was just invisible camera stuff that like no one ever sees. At the end of the episode, there was a line, was it from Heyman, right? It was from Heyman to Jimmy, I think. I might be getting that wrong. I think it was from Heyman to Jimmy at the end of the episode where he says, the tribal chief says it's interesting what you see when you watch the TV. Like, watch the actual episode of what's going on backstage. Rather, WWE has a habit, right, of like, well, if they were to just watch the show, they would probably know that this guy's like, shady or whatever it is. Yeah. They never do that. They did it in this instance, and I thought that was really like another great little piece of the puzzle, that Roman He knows what the fuck's going on with Jay and Sammy. He's seen it. He saw that.
Yeah.
He saw that. So Roman's going to be pissed off at Jay for damn sure. I mean, he's already pissed. We know he's pissed at Sammy, of course. But now he's going to be even more pissed off at Jay. The loyalties come into question. All of that stuff, we're going to get a lot more of that tale going into Elimination Chamber. I think with everything culminating at Mania, we might even see a Jey Uso still torn, and helping Roman win against Sammy. We could see that, but still everything's not right with the bloodline. And then the final kind of turn happens at Mania down the road. That's sort of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm fascinated with it all because it ties into even more with the bloodline and even more with someone completely different. And that's, of course, Cody Rhodes and how that story is developing between the two, royal families of wrestling at the moment, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of the promo with him and Heyman this past whatever it was?
I thought it was a good promo. Sounded like Cody had a lisp, a really bad lisp. I don't know if
he
he was
always
sick
has.
or...
He always has.
I know he has, but I'm just saying, I don't know if he had like a cold or like something, but it was much more pronounced.
I have a theory about this. I have a theory that
you're going to make us feel bad for him.
No. Other way around. Cody is a sneaky motherfucker. And it's been proven that Cody likes to tell lies. He likes to play into things, okay? What were they talking about most of this promo? Dusty Rhodes, right? That was the key thing with all of this promo. Now, we can get into more of that in a sec, but Dusty had that lisp. I have a feeling when you've got Cody trying to become more of a sympathetic babyface and relate to Dusty and make like people, maybe even like older wrestling fans, right, that know Dusty, remember how he talked, and he knows like this is getting mainstream attention with some of those fans, more casual, that don't maybe know him as well. Know he's his son, but like now they can see, oh shit, he's got the Dusty lisp. I think he turns it on in situations where it benefits him.
That would make sense. That's actually a good way to look at it because it was
it was pronounced. It was more pronounced than usual.
Yeah, it made me think he was sick or his tongue was swollen or something. So, but your theory is much more on brand and it makes a lot more sense. But I will say I liked it. I get I don't know, just give Cody the title already because I'm tired of hearing that story. Because we heard it even with him in AEW, and you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I get the prominence of it, but it's not the first time we've heard this story from him. I guess in WWE in this setting and this
it needs to be this title though. It has to be this title, and it can't. That's the thing as well with this whole deal is I still don't know how they separate the belts.
I don't know how they do it either. I hope they don't fall flat on that. And I will say, what do you think it's going to be like for Cody's kids growing up? Like when he passes away, what are they going to have to do to try and avenge his legacy?
Well, he's only got the one daughter, so
I know, but I'm
she's gonna have to beat Charlotte Flair, isn't she? I mean, or beat her record. She's
gonna beat her 16 times for the title.
Exactly. I figured that one out too. Like they're not giving that to Cena or Orton or anybody.
They're giving it to her.
They're giving it to her. Yeah. She's gonna be the first one to crack that. That seems super logical, but besides the point, we'll talk about her later. But no, I like the promo. I like the direction of where it's going as far as there's, I like the manipulation, of course, by Heyman. He's the best at this.
He's so good.
The whole, Dusty told me that you were his favorite son.
Yeah.
And first off, Goldust is, like, what the hell, man? Like, Dustin Rhodes is like, fucker, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then like for it to go into, but Roman Reigns was the real son that he never had, and all this, and like it's great, like how they made something that Cody made out to be not personal into something personal, and now we have another storyline there.
Yeah.
It has to be that match. It kind of here's what I'm, and we're predicting way down the road here. Here's what I'm struggling with. I don't know that Cody has to win the belts at WrestleMania. I'm not 100% that it's a done deal that Roman doesn't walk out as champion. I think that if I was a betting man right now, I might go Roman. They have 2 nights of WrestleMania. You can still send the people home happy the following night. If the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, you can have that main event with the Usos, and that be the culmination on the second night.
Yeah, but do you think that hurts Cody?
No, it doesn't, because I think he probably then gets it at SummerSlam. I don't know that you absolutely have to do it at WrestleMania. I don't think it hurts Cody. It would be his first loss in the company, like since he came back. And it's to
Didn't
Roman.
He lose to Rollins once? Didn't they do 3 matches?
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did lose one.
I think.
Did
I don't know how or which one.
Yeah, he did, because they did the rubber match, which is the one with the torn pec, which is Cody won. Yep. So no. So he has lost that. But again, that's the Seth too. Seth is,
But how much more quickly do you think he would have gotten this title? And I think that's something that I'm also interested to hear your opinion on, because if this has been the plan, even since he was out and they kind of knew a timeline and they had to rework it, right?
Right.
You think he was going to get the title sometime last year?
No.
Had he kept going?
No. I think the plan, that's a long time off.
And do you think this Sami thing...
He might have won it at the Rumble or something. I can see that. I don't think he was going to get it that much sooner. I don't know what was the plan then, right? Like, if he wasn't to get injured, you can't just have him and Seth for like 9 months. So, who was he going to be before Roman? Like, who was it going to be? I don't have an answer. Was he just going to wrestle a bunch of mid-card bullshit? Like, it
can't.
I don't think
that
would have been good for him.
You're not going to put him with Lashley. You're not going to put him with Lesnar. You're not going to...
Theory, maybe that. And that wouldn't have been great for him, but it would have been good for Theory.
But it would be for nothing but the U.S. title. Cody's above that title.
He is above that title, and and even before he got injured, he was intimating that was the reason he was back, was to win the world title. So the story really hasn't changed.
That's what I'm saying. But from Mania to Mania, maybe it was a year, and now we'll get you to the next Mania. But I wonder how much this Sami thing has complicated it, because this seems somewhat organic, right? Like, and then they kind of had to go to it, and so I think leading into this too, they might use this Elimination Chamber to try and squash some of that with him and Roman, to try and put a focus on Roman and Cody.
I think that's gonna
because you've heard both Cody and Roman mention it. Like Cody has said, well, I try not to talk about Roman, blah blah, but I guess I kind of have to, But then Roman's like, well, I would much rather be talking about Cody Rhodes in WrestleMania, but I have to fucking talk about this Sami thing.
Didn't Roman use the Cody line? What do you want to talk? All right, what do you want to talk about?
That was really good.
I like that because Cody did it.
Really good.
Of course, he did that in AEW when his contract status was really in question. That first big thing, and then it happened. When he came back.
Dude, Roman is fucking killing it.
Roman is killing it, and I really appreciate. We kind of share notes, like behind the scenes, to everybody listening. We kind of share notes before the show of stuff we want to talk about on the show. And you threw in there like something about Roman's entrance and how fucking like baller it is.
Yeah, what did I say? I said Roman's entrance is fucking dope. We
all know that. And we'll get to the second part in a second, but I wanted to just remind you. I wanted to remind you that when he developed, when he first came out to that music, you and Duncan
hated it.
We're fucking sounds like generic creator wrestler music, like blah blah blah.
I'm like,
legit no, dude, it's good.
It is God mode music.
Awesome. It's God mode shit. Like sometimes if I gotta get some chores done, I'll throw that bitch on. Like I'll be, man, you should see how good I clean those dishes, man.
Dude, I'm gonna start like listening to that in the shower and then like open the thing with all the steam coming out. Shake off the water off.
Oh yeah. Well, he's always soaking wet anyway, so you'd just be just like him. But yeah, no, I love it, man. I've loved it since the beginning, and I think it's funny like how you're not the only one. I've heard other people who have like come around on it, and it's like, no, it is a good ass entrance. Like it's it's modern day. It is
the best, hands down. Hands down. And the most. It gives you the most feel, like because of the whole story and how he portrays himself and how everyone around him walks out to, and just that presence that he carries.
Massive.
The whole ambiance, and the man has the charisma now.
He does.
The charisma is off the charts.
I think those goddamn veneers helped. Those veneers, they really like turned it up, man. Like
it really did.
The music, it's the whole package. Like, and that's what's great about it. It's that you can tell he actually really cares. Of course, he's got a team of people that are building this character and fine-tuning all those elements. But I think you can tell how much he cares about it because he's putting everything he can into it, and he's proving his this is a good for me. If I'm Roman, right, I'm doing everything I can in kind of the same way, in the same vein as The Rock did, in that I'm gonna prove I am a badass, not only athlete, star, but also an actor. And Roman, wants to get into Hollywood, so he is in this run proven how good of a fucking actor it is. His facial expressions have been amazing. His just like constant and he's got that swag. Roman could go away. He could lose the titles, go away,
at Mania,
come back
out of the ring, sign a contract to go do a movie.
Yep.
Walk out and go do the movie.
And be gone for a year and come back as the biggest face in the company. Yep. Roman is that guy now, and we never thought it would happen, but Roman, you can absolutely turn Roman face right now if you want to. He's popular enough, he's badass enough, it's everything. You can do it with the right person. It just has to be the right person. Like that's the deal. What if double turn? Cody goes heel. Cody can go heel. And we get a Cody heel Roman face down the line. To me, that's something I think I want to see, because I think there's a story to tell with the WWE and the subcontext with the AEW trader stuff that you can tell. I think that story will come up at some point. And it would also...
I also think they'll probably, if they're smart, and we know they're listening, when Roman goes away, right? Because that has to be the big impact. He has to go away for a while, do whatever he's going to get his feet in next, right? And then when he comes back, that's when you're going to get that big pop. But they should start leaking rumors before that, now that his contract is expiring.
Oh, dude.
Two, when it's coming up that All Elite confirmed Roman Reigns, and so then Cody can make some jabs, and then when Roman shows up,
bidding war of 2024, and it's like MJF for Roman or something. Like what?
And we both know they're gonna stay where they're at.
Exactly. But you did ask in relation to Roman's entrance, who else has had entrances at any time in recent history that was good as his? It's tough, man. Like, I feel like Shinsuke at one point when he first debuted was one of the closer things to that. I think some of that NXT crop when you had, of course, like the glorious thing with Bobby Roode was super cool. But if you've noticed, of course, they changed music producers from those CFOs guys, and now it's this Def Rebel group. Def Rebel has done that latest Roman one, and they are very actively getting rid, if they can, of anything CFOs. If you've noticed, like a lot of, and that's also why it's like kind of sketchy if they'll do the Sami Zayn music, because that was a CFO's one, right? Like, but some of the new shit right now, like, it's terrible. Like, I'm just like Def Rebel, I think it is. Yeah, they got the Roman one, and it's great. There's not many others. There's really, really not. They're mostly misses, and they're all super generic and boring.
Yeah, I was about to say they're all super generic.
You can't tell. I mean, you see this in the Rumble. Someone's music hits, and it's not like iconic. It doesn't have anything that pops out as to the, like. And so you're like, okay.
There's no oomph. It's just like, it's like fucking compressed MP3 high end, like yeah,
generic butt rock, or it's all just, it's all the same. I tell you what, Io Sky's got a good one, or whatever name they're calling her this week. Io Sky's got this, like, she's got a banger. Have you heard that one?
Hers is actually pretty good. Yeah,
that one's good. Let me see if I'll play like 2 seconds of it real quick. We won't try not to get copyright butt fucked, but we can at least play a sec. I like it because it's, I don't know, it's again, it's different. At least it is.
Well, it's got some oomph too.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like a hard ass, like, bass drop.
Yeah, it is.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's kind of,
it's impactful.
It is. Oh man. Here we go. Tokyo Shock. I think that's the name of it. It's 6 months ago. We'll see. I don't know. I think it's that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit's dope, dude.
This is fucking baller, dude. Like, this theme right here.
Dude, this is like bass futuristic, like what's that? God, I just had it. Fuck. It's like, I don't know. It's good.
Yeah, no, she's like, so, but
bass futuristic trap spy music.
Yeah, yes. All right, that's a pretty good definition of it. But yeah, no, I like. They got a couple that are good, but then, like, could you name, for instance, or even think about in your head what Raquel Rodriguez's theme song is? No. Not a clue.
Lacey Evans.
Not a clue.
Not a clue, and they just repackaged
Liv Morgan.
She's got the ding 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 ding.
Yeah, she does have that.
Clock,
the
clock and the thing, but after that,
yeah, she does have the ding ding ding. I forgot about that thing. Yeah, you're right. But anyway,
who else though? I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, but even, let's see.
There's not many good ones anymore.
Do you think at a time Charlotte Flair's intro was kind of on that level?
They just changed hers a little bit with her reintroduction, and it's better. It's a good. That's a good update. So credit where they're due on that.
Due. Yeah, it is a good update because she needs something, and she's not going to leave the Flair thing right now or anytime soon. Which is, I think, it's been a gift and a curse for her.
It's
because
both.
because she's at a level that, like, once she gets more titles than her dad, then
she can kind of be more just Charlotte and less
Flair. She has to, I think, develop the character beyond just her being Flair.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't know if I buy her very much as a face right now either.
She's a backstabbing bitch.
Well, because she's just been, again, it's the curse, right? It's almost the curse of the name and the character that she's been portraying for so many years. Like, she has been a heel for 99% of her career. Rightfully so, because it fits her well. But we're tired of seeing that, so they're trying to do a different thing. Did you see any of Vengeance Day? The NXT? No. Okay. There were a couple good matches on that. It wasn't all great. Trust me.
I
It
saw
wasn't
you
all
mention
great.
something in the group.
No,
yeah.
it was an over delivery of what I was expecting it to be. NXT is, believe it or not, actually improving very quickly right now. Like they've gone from a laughing stock to, oh, you're actually doing some cool shit, which I'm happy to see. It's not, it's still not black and gold like heyday NXT stuff, but we're improving. We're going somewhere. We're moving in a decent direction.
Did someone die in a storyline?
I
saw a commercial for NXT on Raw last week, and I thought it was like a fucking CSI commercial, and then it was like who killed blah blah blah, and then it was like NXT, and I was like, what the fuck? Just what?
You might be like right. I'm not that.
The women's storyline. I think they tried to kill someone off, but I don't think she's actually dead.
Either way, they had the breakup of Toxic Attraction the other week, which is actually really well done because you had like Bailey do her segment, her ding dong hello or whatever.
Can I give you a hot take? Maybe it's a hot take.
Sure.
I don't know if it is. I don't think Mandy Rose is that hot.
No, I she's kind of a plastic person. So I mean, she's hot in the Barbie doll plastic thing type of way, but
she's just very generic.
She's like a porn star. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've seen hotter porn stars.
Exactly.
I've seen hotter porn stars.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. Just she came up on my Instagram the other day, and I was like, everyone, you're paying tons of money every month for this?
I feel like she's only like for those people. It's only because she's a wrestler. Like it's hot. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I think it's more of that. Which kudos to her. Like that she was able to make.
If this is your run at the bag,
good,
and you're like, I'm gonna make a fucking run, and I'm gonna get this, and
get
I'm
a couple
gonna
mil under my belt, invest, and
exactly.
be good.
Dude, fucking do your thing.
Absolutely.
Not everyone needs billions. I get it.
The big reason I bring up the Charlotte thing or Vengeance Day was because Charlotte did because it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, her namesake city, all that type of stuff. And so she read out she almost like narrated all of the video packages prior to each match. So it's a big star coming down from, of course, the main roster to narrate, explain who Wesley is and, Dijak is and what these feuds are. And it's a great concept, right? It's actually a really smart idea for them to for a more casual audience that hasn't been following NXT, have someone goddamn.
I'm just picturing them have Braun do it, and he's like,
right.
I don't know, fuck these wrestlers. I hate them.
Yeah,
flippy
using a bunch
bullshit.
Of slurs. Look at this flippy bullshit.
Them, the F word.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what they're doing. Fucking monster.
I kind of like that too. But so the concept is great, but she did it in such this serious monotone voice where it was it was so teleprompter, you're and this wrestler did this to this person and this did that, it was just reading the script of her doing it with, again, good idea, little bit of with all the hype music, it disguised it, but her performance, is left a little bit to be desired.
Okay.
She's got to lose that shit to fucking Ripley, right? At Mania. She's got to.
Because she can fucking win it back from her.
Well, I don't even think she does that. I think this is a real passing of the torch in a way. I think they finally realized what they got with Rhea, and Rhea's clicked so much, like we talked about earlier.
She's taking it and run.
It's time to do it, and I think you're gonna get actually a weird show of respect with the two of them.
I will say this before I move on to this wrestling related thing, off wrestling related, just because you were talking about Charlotte and the way she was talking, doing the narration.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes over the past month or so of this documentary on Netflix. It's on the world's national parks, so each place is a national park. It's narrated by Barack Obama.
Oh yeah. I've seen that advertisement.
I don't want Barack. I didn't know I didn't want Barack Obama narrating my nature documentaries until I saw him, or heard him rather, narrating my nature documentaries. It doesn't work. It
No.
works when he's making speeches,
Yeah.
right? But
That
like
certain
when
cadence that Barack Obama
when you're
has
talking
about
like
oh,
mammals
this is
mating and
this is
migrating,
the tree of like it's been around
Doesn't
for
work. Yeah.
hundreds of years. This redwood
Doesn't work.
that yes yeah. Now there's certain voices for that. There's certain
So,
cadences. It's and
like kind of like Charlotte. I'll tie it back into wrestling. I will say, because I brought up Braun, looking at my notes,
Oh.
when did Braun and Ricochet become a fucking tag team? Because
yeah, it's been a few weeks. It's been a few.
I only noticed this last week on Raw because they were in the qualifier and they won, and then I also watched them, obviously in the match on SmackDown.
Yeah, they had this weird. They had the match. They had a singles match against each other a few weeks back, and there was this like kind of mutual show of respect that happened, and then there was even a couple backstage segments with them, I believe. It's been like this weird loose storyline, but they have been promoting it, and I gotta
don't
say,
hate it.
and I gotta say, it actually sort of works. It's actually a good use of both their talents, and who doesn't like kind of like that big and small thing?
Yeah.
Like that's cool. I've always liked teams like that where you've got like just such huge differences in like.
I mean, you've been a big fan of all Braun Strowman's tag teams. Him and Alexa, him and Ricochet, him and Nicholas.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking more like when HBK and Diesel would do tag matches together, like that, and remember when Sean would do the elbow and the splash off of Diesel's goddamn shoulders, like because it was higher than the turnbuckle, so he was even like he would climb on him and like.
And that's what they're doing with Braun and Ricochet. He goes over and Ricochet gets up on his shoulders and Braun walks him over.
It's kind of cool, like it sort of works, and it's also, I mean, I think you're trying to babyface Braun a little bit after the shit he said about flippy dippy wrestlers, right? So you're pairing him with one who can outwork him 10 times over, and so it's sort of like,
and also
I think it is a slight little slap in the face to Braun in a weird way, like.
And for a smaller dude, Ricochet is ripped, dude. That dude
he's awesome.
He's like thick too.
Yeah,
like, he is. And so Braun, who's so obsessed about how big he is, he's probably like, fuck, I got a little flippy dude who's fucking big little flippy dude.
Big little flippy dude, exactly. And Ricochet's been doing great stuff. We didn't even talk about that spot with him and Logan Paul at the Rumble. But oh my God, that was one of the
sound.
That was one of the shining moments. That was one of the shining moments at that Rumble. It was fantastic. Like, and I'm excited to see. Hate the guy. I'm glad he's getting booed now, at least. Don't really
it was
like,
only a matter of time, right?
But he's fucking good. And Logan Paul will probably have the match at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, is what's being predicted. I think it will fuck. I think it will be really, 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 really good. But yeah, like I kind of do like Braun and Ricochet as a tag team. It was smart to have them not win and not get to that next level. Like, but I still think, I think there's value in keeping them together. They don't have to wrestle all the time as a tag team. They can do singles stuff, but I think there's some value in having an alliance, a weird little alliance between the two of them, that if Ricochet's ever getting like the shit kicked out of him, by somebody, he's got his buddy Braun in the back. And I like these, like, that's an old school thing where wrestlers would have like little, like,
someone to hide, like, or
it's
protect them.
It's my old buddy. Like, it's like,
this is my strong arm. Like, don't make me sick 'em on you.
Exactly. Like, I'm there for you if you need it, type thing. Like, we're good. So I hope that kind of continues.
I like that.
Go ahead,
one more thing I was going to say. You mentioned this a couple of podcasts ago. You said you really wanted him back, baby, and he's back. Boogs is back, baby.
Boogs.
Talk about a beefcake.
I did not like his gear.
I liked his shirt.
His shirt's good. I like his shirt.
I actually thought that's a good enough shirt to maybe buy.
Him
playing the guitar, and I forget what it says. I'm gonna look it up.
I miss it. I wish he never would have cut his hair, if I'm being honest. Like, I do miss his hair. I miss, like, And I thought like his entrance was a little douchey. It's like, okay, all we're doing is air drumming and guitaring. Like it was a little like I don't know. Like I like me some Boogs, but it was a bit stupid.
I mean, it's definitely stupid, dude. But
definitely
so
stupid.
the shirt, it says Rick Boogs in like these 80s kind of lettering. He is standing on what appears to be the moon, the surface of the moon, with a nebula behind him, and he's standing there with the one leg forward, playing a triangle shredded guitar like this, and underneath it, it says, "Always time to shred."
I feel like there is potential with Boogs. I would love to see them do more with him. And he looks, he's in great shape. He's always been pretty good in the ring too. Like he's got some moves. Like we'll see what they do. But I think there's some hella good potential with him. How about this, Matthew? We've been going about an hour. We haven't even touched AEW yet. So let's just try and get every bit of WWE out of our system, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll start with AEW and do Elimination Chamber predictions at the end. You cool with that?
All right. I've got one I would like to mention. I have another one that I don't care about mentioning or not.
No.
If we want to talk about it,
Go
so it's
for
a
it.
quick passing, but I'll go through the quick passing one really quick. Carmella returned, and it was extremely lackluster. Like they didn't do an entrance or anything. It was during the women's match on Raw last week, not the steel cage, obviously, but then a bunch of wrestlers just started showing up ringside, and Carmella did, and Corey kind of tried to say something, but it was really quickly. Wade was done.
I think she did actually return in a backstage segment before that.
Okay.
She did return, so there was something with her.
She wasn't in the Rumble, right? I don't think so.
No, I don't think she was. Think she was. But she definitely had like a backstage segment, and then she had a match with, I mean, she lost her first match back, right? Was it with Asuka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I actually didn't know she actually had a match.
No, she has had a match, and she lost her first match.
Oh, so
back,
okay, never mind. Then I'm way off base here. Sorry. This Bloodline thing has me watching way more WWE, which is not a bad thing. But the other one that I had was I read this article on WWE looking at trying to generate more revenue like they did with sponsorship.
I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, I'm glad you brought. Well, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. The Pitch Black match. I mean, the match was terrible, but I'm gonna honestly say I thought it looked really cool. I actually did think it looked cool. Like this is what they call toyetic. This is what they call like perfect video game synergy, all that type of stuff. I don't hate the concept of a sponsored dumb match. It's WWE. It's fine. I don't know that you do it with Bray, really, but then who else do you do it with? Wouldn't made sense otherwise. They made good use of the UV light, right? And the way it kind of like shifted with Bray's makeup, and like the way it kind of looked when he was in that, you know. So I dug that, and I dug even the dumb like confetti things that were like somehow there, or like beads. Whatever that
were
was
in the table or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't even mind it because I thought it looked kind of cool. Now the story was stupid, and the match was stupid, and I'm over all this howdy. I'm done with it, really. Like you've got.
I didn't write it in my notes, but dude, can we talk about this? Bray Wyatt. Like, do you think that he actually kind of just fucked himself some of those other times?
Yeah, I'm getting that feeling these days.
Because he was telling stories, but I don't ever think he was like a great wrestler. And it's very apparent now. And like, I think he's done some of his best storytelling.
it feels like they're what is the term? Like really reaching.
Like, I don't think it
hard.
was all
Like,
Vince McMahon.
yeah, there's not a lot left in the well, and like you're sucking the well dry of all the good.
And you don't have any other. Yeah, you have no other ideas. The well is dry. You can't. You chose to not pivot and turn this to something else.
I mean, if there was more to this whole deal, I'm sure we would have had more of a concise, like, if Bray was a genius storyteller and there was so much more to this Uncle Howdy thing, then why did it start off as like Uncle Howdy was against Bray, and now we have them teaming up together to basically push LA Knight off a goddamn scaffolding into like, or whatever, or Howdy jumps off the thing, therefore helping Bray to win the match, I guess.
To win the match, he already won.
Which
didn't he already win that before that?
I don't care. I don't remember.
I don't think it matters. I just don't
think any of it matters. And I don't think I just don't think that there's I've
been so over it for a long time. I think
I've lost faith that there's ever been much of a plan. Like he keeps saying, "Oh, there's so much more to the story," and like all this sort of stuff. I don't believe it anymore. You've said this too many times without there ever being a real fucking story. So
yeah,
you've got to tell me something.
And also, you built up 3-4 months to that.
Mm-hmm.
Looked cool though. I will say,
it
to
did
your
look
point,
cool.
did look cool. Next time, instead of them wrestling, I would rather watch them play laser tag in the crowd with all the people.
Yeah, that would
like
be great.
hiding
Halftime show. Pew, 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 like,
yeah,
something like that.
Boogs could be good for that.
He would be great.
Boogs versus New Day or something.
But to your original point, you were alluding to.
But so I was gonna say, So I was gonna say that. So with that, there's talk of, and I have the article. I think if I need to pull it up, I'm just looking at my notes here. So they've talked about selling more sponsorships because they see what they can do, but that would mean doing things like, and this is not a hate because AEW obviously did it with Cracker Barrel and things like that, but it is more of a UFC type thing where you're going to see like in the corners on the mat.
New Japan does it. New Japan does it.
Turnbuckle, boxing does it. MMA does it. I mean, you sell the space, right? But turnbuckles, this, that, and the other.
Advertisements on parts of the ring is what we're talking about.
Yeah. But I think what WWE is doing is kind of, which, I mean, AEW did it with like their barrel match, right? Didn't they have a great Cracker Barrel match?
They've done it a couple of times. They did it with Rick and Morty and a couple other TBS or TNT cross promotions. I know they did that at one point.
I can't wait to talk about the Impractical Jokers when we get to the AEW segment.
Oh, geez. Yeah, can't wait for that. But no, like I know Nick Khan, this all comes from a Nick Khan interview, what you're talking about, where he said they were open to selling space on the ring mat, on the turnbuckles, all this. Yet, and there was even talk of a Cinnamon Toast Crunch match at Mania.
Well, Mike guy, fucking, what's his name?
Sempervive?
What?
Is it Mike Sempervive?
Yes. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So he had said, blah, 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 in the interview. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Craig Stimmel. Sorry.
Different guy.
Mike was somewhere else in there.
Sure.
So he is the WWE Senior VP and Head of Global Sales and Partnerships. So he teased a Cinnamon Toast Crunch collaboration for WrestleMania. So he did say, so basically in the interview, he talked about the impressive sponsorship revenue WrestleMania 39 has already produced. With several months to go, WrestleMania 39 sponsorship revenue is already 43% higher than it was for WrestleMania 38. And that will likely continue to rise as we head into the final months and weeks before the event. One of the event's new sponsors is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Stimmel teased there will be, quote, surprises at the show and cited the new sponsor. I don't want to give away too much, but it'll be around a match and the sponsorship of that match and what they will be able to bring to that match, Stimmel said. So we're going to do things that fit inside of that storyline as well.
Oh, what match is it then? How do we
New Day, didn't they come out to they had their Bootios versus
that would be smart.
It could be like a fake match, like a fun match.
Some pre-show dumb shit too,
yeah,
like some filler kind of thing. Yeah, you could easily do that. I was even thinking I don't know, because Logan Paul's just so big with media and stuff, like somehow you tie it into that one, but that probably wouldn't, I don't know.
Oh, for the kids, dude, they're missing out. I don't know who owns Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm doubting it's Kellogg's. They should fucking sponsor with Kellogg's, do Rice Krispies, and have Snap, Crackle, and Pop versus the fucking New Day, and then Big E could do a cinematic thing and fucking
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
do it for the kids. Do it for the kids.
I will say this though about the like ring apron stuff. There's been a lot of talk of that in years past, and Vince McMahon has always been anti it. And you know what? It was actually, I think, for some decent reasons, because other wrestlers have talked about when they put those graphics on the ring mat, how it makes it like super slippy. Because if you think about it, it's not like a grippy, like, because it's like a vinyl overlay. They have to stick to it.
We're a day out of the Super Bowl. So I read an article. That was an $800,000 turf that they were moving in and out every single day to get sunshine in that stadium, except for 4 days before where they put it in completely. I watched the engineering.
It's nuts. Yeah,
it's fucking nuts. But then everyone's complaining because then they they grew this amazing fucking grass. Then they painted it. And everyone's slipping all over the fucking thing. It's like, why spend $800,000 growing the shit if you're just going to put paint on it, like you're saying with the mats?
The smartest thing would be, like, the technology has gotten so ridiculous. If you've ever watched, like, NHL lately, they have on the ice, like, virtual ads, basically, look like they're in the ice, but they change, like, constantly. Why not do that on the ring mat? Like, the technology is there. Now the ring mat, like, is perfectly safe for the wrestlers. You can still put the advertisement down there, and WWE is most certainly could do that. And they're in tune with what other sports broadcasters are doing. In that sense, they've always prided themselves on their production. This would be a logical step for them to do, to be able to project things where it's not like projecting necessarily on to the wrestler. It's not breaking it up, but it looks like it's underneath their feet. They do it again. They do it in the NFL. They do it in the NBA. They do it in the NHL. Why wouldn't WWE do this? Like, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does make perfect sense.
Totally.
I also do love how it's the conspiracy theory is coming out, and former NFL players are talking about how the NFL is scripted.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Hey, you've said it before. Politics is wrestling. What else was it?
Wrestling is politics. Politics is wrestling.
And it's like it's everything. That's what they're doing it for. They got to put on the show. Got to put on
all
the
money.
spectacle.
It's all money at the end of the day. It's all money. One thing before we go to break that I did want to mention is lately, WWE related, by the way. We recently just seen kind of the disbanding of JBL and Baron Corbin. Oh, what a shame JBL's going away again. Oh, I'll be heartbroken.
But rumor has it that maybe Triple H is not hot on Baron and thinks that he's, had so many different characters back and forth. I don't know how true this is.
I don't know if I buy that. I think that because I do think that Baron Corbin has his place and what they absolutely need to do. And the only reason I say this.
Are you going to say go back to sad?
Absolutely. Bum ass Corbin needs to come back because JBL dropped his ass. He's going to be down on his luck, and bum ass Corbin needs to go. Bum ass Corbin was getting over. In recent weeks, like very recent weeks, within the last couple weeks, Corbin did an interview where he actually said that if he thought he kind of was petitioning to continue with that version of the character because he knew it was getting over in a different way. And he's like, I think if I had a little more time to develop it and a little more time to work with it, I could have made myself into a face with it. And I think he's actually right, which is amazing to say about Corbin. But
he needs to go to Mania and shoot on Skid Row.
I mean, he could do some interesting stuff with bum ass Corbin. And that's what I personally think is happening. And I think that's why you're seeing the reports of Triple H he's not hot on him, because that's part of the narrative. That would be funny if Triple H is not hot on him, right? He's not getting booked. Now he's bum ass Corbin. So they're almost telling you without telling you. I think that he's going back to that character, and I fully support it because it's something he can get behind.
I fully support that too.
I think it's something he can get behind. I think he'd be really fucking good at it.
When he hits real rock bottom, have him fucking at a bar where Boogs is playing. And then he like teams up with Boogs for a little bit.
I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. I like, and he's annoyed with him, but it's like, okay.
And Boogs is like, he's like, we're gonna get you back up there, brother. Look at me. And he's like, dude, you're in the same bar as I am.
He's doing this to him all the time, and Corbin's just like, he's like almost his roadie. Like he's having to carry his gear and like, just to make ends meet.
Sad
like,
Corbin.
Bum ass Corbin. That's what we need to do is bring that back. One last thing that I feel I need to absolutely address on the WWE side of things, and I'm sure things will pop up on the second segment that are WWE related. They always do. But one thing I think is it's because we've been talking about it for a while now, and I've felt bad for this dude. But Dijak over on Twitter.
Oh, you brought it up a month or so ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware.
Well, he's been petitioning like Twitter and Elon Musk for ages now because his official like Twitter handle.
And Musk finally get around to it. We all know they're working 24/7 and on no sleep and no food or water. I
think his last
they finally got around to
his handle. His handle was T-Bar Retribution, and he was like, "I'm done with this gimmick. Like let me out of this goddamn hellhole of this having this name." And he's been asking. Finally, Dijak is Dijak or whatever on Twitter now. He got rid of it, and he even made a big
Twitter gods have fucking.
He made a big post. He made a big post about finally I could finally get rid of that shadow that was Retribution and T-Bar.
If I were Mustafa Ali, I would have just sent him a gif of the Matrix shit.
Yeah. Furthering it, like the hacker thing. Remember?
Yeah, the hacker thing. And he'd be like, "Oh shit."
What was also great, at Vengeance Day, I believe it was, Dijak dislocated his finger. I don't know if you've seen any of those pictures.
I did.
If you're weak of stomach, maybe you're a little queasy, don't look them up. But it is wow, it is all he does a middle finger out. I don't know, completely out of its socket, man.
I don't know how. Have you ever broken a bone? No, you broke your collarbone.
Broken my clavicle, but that's really the only one. Never broken arm, leg. I mean, I'm sure I know we all break our toes and shit
or whatever. Yeah. So knock on wood, I haven't either, but I remember so I seen that, and then more also as recently Bray had that happen, right, where he broke his finger. I remember growing up, I was skating with this kid, Mike, and he was going down this rail and he fell, and dude, his finger, he's like, fucking gotta go to the hospital. I broke my finger. His finger's half sideways.
Oh, God, yeah.
Dude, I'd be fucking a baby. I would be crying and screaming and I guess, but everyone seems so calm.
It's like an adrenaline thing too, I think, at certain points. If the adrenaline's going through you enough,
your body's your body's just primed to try and not make you feel the pain.
You feel it later. It's once that wears off, then you're like, uh-oh. And then
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like the sea urchin in my finger. Remember I got those 24 stitches?
Oh, God, yeah.
It hurt, but then they did the surgery, but at that afternoon when I got back from the surgery, took another nap and woke up and all the stuff had kind of worn off.
Yeah.
That was the most excruciating.
And you're like,
I couldn't even roll over to get the fucking medicine because I was like, ow. It was going up, even though it was just in my hand, it was running up my arm and down my back.
It's the worst.
It was painful, dude. So,
well, on that note,
AEW coming up next.
Yeah. We'll do some AEW kind of talk, and then of course we'll get into our predictions for Elimination Chamber. It is pretty much right at 10 o'clock if you are watching live. So we'll take 10 minutes. We'll be back to you in about 10:10, and we'll come back with some more Ohno Wrestling Podcast. Give us a woo, Matthew. Woo! Welcome back to second segment of Ohno Wrestling. As you just heard there, played a little bit of a 10-bell salute. That goes out to our one and only, I think one of our first supporters as far as Ohno Wrestling goes, our friend, the one and only Jordan Meeks, sadly, tragically, has passed away. If you look in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Ohno Wrestling, you'll find more information if you want to help out with that situation. But we wanted to throw him a 10-bell salute there on break. And he will be very, very missed in our Facebook group and our travels. Guy was one of our biggest supporters, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was. And I don't know, I didn't know him other than being in the group, but he was so active in the group. I loved his little his profile picture. It was like a cartoon version of him with his arms shrugged, with his like hands out, like and I just always pictured him like that, like I'm just letting you know.
I think you
like,
got to I think you did actually, and a lot of people, you're not alone, like a lot of people got to know like Jordan had a great personality in person, but also carried that some people can carry that personality into an online space, and he was one of those guys that absolutely did. He was a snarky motherfucker, and we love him for it, but he had some great wrestling knowledge and great wrestling opinions, and his losing him will be a loss to our Ohno Wrestling community. So just wanted to shout that out.
Yeah. Condolences. Rest in paradise, good brother.
Yeah, man. I guess he joins the likes of also Lanny Poffo. It's sad to see Macho Man's brother leave the planet too.
Do we know the reason?
I don't know. I don't know that it has been reported as to what the official cause of death was with Lanny Poffo. I did, do some, reflecting on his sort of career, and I remember him as the genius, of course, like more of a managerial role, but always with a poem and always with something like. He was a great orator. He was a great, had a great voice. Couple little so many, better qualified people have done obituaries about him, so I won't go at length, but did you know that Lanny Poffo is credited for the first guy to do the moonsault in North America?
No.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high honor.
Yeah. He would never take credit for the move. He saw it in Japan from whoever was doing it first in Japan that he caught it from. But he never wants to take credit for inventing the move or anything. But he's the first guy that they say did a moonsault in North American professional wrestling.
Nice.
And that's super cool. He also beat Hulk Hogan on Main Event, like way back in the day. It was one of Hogan's only losses back in those days.
Wow.
They're still confused. Like, still people wonder like why that even occurred or what have you.
Yeah.
And then he was also, remember when Macho went over to WCW, and Lanny was brought on. He's like he kind of wanted to bring him in, and they signed Lanny, and he basically worked like 2 matches in the span of like a year or something. They just didn't have anything for him. Weirdly enough, they basically purchased the gimmick of Gorgeous George, old wrestler Gorgeous George, famous, flamboyant, beautiful wrestler. They told him, dye your hair blonde. We're going to make you the new Gorgeous George. And actually, even we bought the gimmick. You can literally, we're using the name for you.
You can actually be Gorgeous George.
Yeah. He wrestled 1 match I don't know if it was taped or not, but he wrestled one match as Gorgeous George in WCW, and then they pretty much like axed the whole thing and never did it again. And he sat at home and collected a paycheck. But it sounds like Lanny wasn't like super into that. Like he wanted to go out there, he wanted to work, he wanted to do the thing.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Lanny Poffo. And
rest in peace too.
I just remember all those vignettes with him and Mr. Perfect. Like those were,
oh my God,
those were fantastic. So
yeah,
just felt like we needed to shout that out along with our good buddy Jordan. Rest in peace, Lanny. Rest in peace, Jordan. Jordan's up there right now watching a Lanny Poffo Macho Man match.
Hell yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. He's probably getting some good action up there. He's getting some good matches.
Well, there's a lot of them up there. Like
there's a lot of them up there. That's for sure. I will say,
who's the we should do this sometime. Maybe not tonight, but we should do the champion of heaven wrestlers, guys that went to like the afterlife wrestlers, guys that have died. Who is like the current champion in the afterlife? You know, like who's?
Yeah.
I feel like Davey Boy Smith's probably doing some crazy shit up there.
He probably is. Yeah.
He's tag teaming with Anvil again. Like they're doing things. I'm sure that's happening. Like they're. I mean, Andre the Giant.
Andre
is
still
probably
not drunk. He's been drinking since he got there.
Can't get drunk. It just still can't get drunk. I think Andre's probably doing pretty good.
This can't be heaven,
dude. I like he's working with Eddie Guerrero right now. They got a really big program.
Eddie Guerrero's probably doing great up there.
Chris Benoit, not up there. He's not there. He is not there. He is somewhere else in.
They call it something underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's got his. Oh no, I'm not even gonna do it. Let's switch a little bit. We will. One of these days we should absolutely do a deep dive into.
We'll do it. Maybe that's an add-on episode. Maybe like not a regular one. We do like a special episode.
I love it.
Like heaven wrestling booking.
That's the real Forbidden Door, man.
That's how we should book it. Yeah.
Well, let's get into a little bit more of the AEW side of things, because we've had a great couple weeks and like kind of some like real big weird surprises. Like I feel like let me ask you this just to start it off. We know that AEW went through kind of a bit of a lull, I would say, towards the fall of last year. Been picking up since. How are your thoughts on the product right now? Where it's shaping up and what we've got coming down the road?
It's definitely picked up since towards the end of last year. I think like the Dynamite I was at,
you got a good Dynamite. You actually got a really good Dynamite.
I got a really good Dynamite. And then after that, they obviously had the West Coast stuff, so that was banging. And then I feel like there was like a really big high, so that when it dropped a little bit, it seemed like it wasn't as good, but it was still fairly good. It was just we had been given week after week after week of like really good programming, and you just can't keep that pace. You have to slow stories down. You have to do things like that. And I think that's kind of what happened. I think the whole, the Briscoe, thing happened. And I think that kind of made things seem a little weird, especially because they couldn't do anything, the day after. And then it had to be a week later and such. So, but I still think it's actually all been handled fairly well. I mean, I can give critiques in recent weeks, but still overall, they're building stories, and there have been really good things too. For the things that I would talk shit on, there's also been really good stuff. And they are building things and building stories and starting some new things a little bit too, which I'm okay with. So I'm going to give them an A for effort.
Well, I've got a couple notes on that myself. I think obviously coming out of like Brawl Out of what they had to dig themselves out of a hole essentially, or like they dug a hole they had to climb out of, I guess is the better way to put it. but they've been climbing out of this hole for a while. I think they're finally out of the hole. They're just like coming out of it. The stuff, like, I think we've had a real, I hate to use this term, but I'm gonna say it, a castration of what those trios belts should have been and what they were going to be. I feel like that has been a real kind of stop-start deal. The feud, of course, that was the Elite and Death Triangle was fantastic. But now that we're out of that, those belts seem very unimportant because there's not a real challenger in the midst. It also has, I find it very interesting that they've almost abandoned the storytelling aspect of what was going on with Kenny Omega when he came back, where he basically, like, it's the rebirth, like from the guy that was so beaten down and broken to coming back to prominence. That whole story has been dropped. You've also got the stuff that's like was sort of hinted at early on with Takeshita and Don Callis. Now that has kind of seemingly dissolved as well. So I think they must be in this like period where I feel like they're having to make all these little minor adjustments to kind of get to where they're hopefully going. I feel like they might have the end goal finally in place, and they're just now like, okay, well, that won't work, so we have to drop this storyline or whatever it is. I
think with the Takeshita thing, I think you can do this MJF thing and come back to the Kenny thing.
I absolutely think so. I think that you have to include him with that program. I think that with the MJF program at this point, but wouldn't it be interesting if, I guess you do have to do the Don Callis stuff after that. So, and we've said it before. I think we said it last time we talked. There's just been so many of these gauntlets that this guy faces 4 other guys before he gets to me. It's been a trope that we're a little bit over now. It was cool for a while. It's gotten like a little old, and all the matches with, Bryan Danielson have been fantastic to lead up to like what we've now.
They have been, but he's been going forever. It's like there's always like a 30-minute match. Which they're good matches, don't get me wrong, but
MJF's like general like story is still probably one of the best things going in wrestling.
Well, in his promo after this match last week, I mean, it was pretty intense.
It's pretty intense where he's talking about how he likes to speed and
apparently like 80% of it was true.
Who knows? I mean,
no, apparently it was like 80% of that. There's pictures of him with that blue Camaro and stuff, like as a young kid with his varsity jacket.
I don't think he switched out the girl.
No. That's the 20% that's not true. It was him and his friends. It's actually true. They hit a tree or something, speeding slick, like, and it was him and his high school football friends or something.
Okay,
but he changed that part because apparently, the rumor was wrestling fans were calling to try and turn him into
I've heard,
which was debunked.
It's been debunked that was actually the case, that wrestling fans like saw the story and then were calling the where's he from again? Is it Long Island?
Yeah.
They were calling whatever county police department saying, you should arrest this guy. He admitted to crimes on television. It's like, well, you guys are fucking idiots. It's arrest. Yeah. First off, if that was the case,
pro wrestling.
If that was the case, it's a wrestling show, dumbass. And
what type of mouth breather was calling the cops doing that?
Well, it doesn't sound like there was anyone that actually did that. There was one person, but that's kind of been debunked. I heard the comparison made to like, if you're watching it's like calling a television show, they use Breaking Bad as an example, right? Like, so you call what was it, New Mexico, Arizona, wherever
Yeah.
and you're fucking like, hey, there's one of your teachers there. He's I think he's
Cooking meth.
cooking meth. Like
Heard about this blue ice?
yeah, same thing.
Saw it on TV. He's got a primetime show.
Yeah, it's
Surprised
so.
you haven't heard about it.
So hopefully, and it does sound like a lot of that has just been some dickheads on the internet.
But regardless, the
making
promo
that
was
story
fucking-
up. The promo was great. The promo
It was great. That's and that's what I was starting in on. Was the promo was fucking great, and like just the intensity. I mean, I think he looked blue at a certain point. I don't know if it was the lighting or if he just wasn't taking a breath of air while straining, but he has that ability, as we know, to take you on a story, and the payoff being how bad of a guy he actually is. I
was wondering how you felt in general if Bryan Danielson were to win it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's logically going to be another screw job with MJF to win the match. But I also wouldn't be mad if Danielson had it for a little bit. And then you could even, I personally think it's what they should do. I think that because I think you can elevate MJF with every victory. Everybody has said,
and he gets the most title runs out of that. Really,
this is what I've been saying. If you remember, for the last couple months, I've been saying that no, I don't know that MJF needs this massive long title run. I get why you would say that, but what if instead of that he has multiple smaller title runs? Right? That are multiple. And that's the bragging rights that he would have over Moxley, which is still kind of that chapter really hasn't ever been closed.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would be the difference, right? Moxley is now considered is he considered 2 or 3 time? I don't know what they do because of the interim.
But he became.
But so technically, I think he should be 3 with the interim, but I think they consider it 2. I think that's it. I think I could be wrong, but that could be part of a discussion for later down the road. And also, I think that can feed into Eddie Kingston. I do think at some point you do have. I still think that you have Kingston beat MJF for that title, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't have him drop it to Danielson for a bit, because I just think optics wise for AEW it'd be really smart to strap up Danielson right now. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't know. Where do you
AEW, just so you know, hasn't done, because I figured the best place to find out about Jon Moxley would be AEW.
Oh yeah, sure.
So the last power rankings that they did, that they have published on their website, is from August 31st.
They've given up. They've given up on that, man. They've totally given up on that.
Do you want to know where we were at in that time frame?
What's going on there?
So men's champions, Jon Moxley was the world champion. Wardlow was the TNT champion, and Pac was the All Atlantic champion. Then you had the top 5 contenders: CM Punk, Hangman Page, Powerhouse Hobbs. Which, what happened with him? They were doing all those promos with him coming back and shit.
I don't know. Maybe they're saving it for something down the line here. Hobbs.
They stopped doing them.
They did completely abandon it. It seems. I'd like Hobbs versus Joe.
I would like that too.
Because Hobbs, with all those vignettes that you're talking about, needs to be face.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a heel.
I thought that's what they were doing. It
looked like that's the direction they were going, but then I don't know. But But Hobbs is a face winning the TNT title off Joe. I can see that working. Plus a good Haas match. They have already matched up. If you remember, they have already done that. But like, I don't think one-on-one like now it could be. I would prefer that to what it seems like they might be doing, which is, Wardlow Joe again, like rebuild Wardlow. I'd prefer Hobbs before that. Give me a Hobbs TNT title run. I think that's the move.
And then bring Wardlow back and do another Hobbs Wardlow. Yeah. I'm good
with
that.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. Well, he was number 3. Jay Lethal was number 4, and Darby was 5. Tag team champions were Swerve and Our Glory.
They rebuilt Darby real well. In fairness, they rebuilt
really
Darby real well.
Which we should talk about Joe and Darby right after this.
Oh, please. Yeah, that match was fucking
violent.
Yeah.
So Swerve and Our Glory were the champions. Contenders, number 1, FTR. Number 2, The Acclaimed. Number 3, The Young Bucks. Number 4, number 10, and Evil Uno. And number 5, The Guns. Wow, how things have changed. Before we talk about Joe and Darby, let's talk about the Guns and that whole Acclaimed Ass Boys thing. I think it's the right move, actually. I think that I was so over that. I was so ready to come into the next time we did a podcast until last Wednesday. I was so over this fucking thing, which I still am over it, but like it had to be done. I was not expecting the Ass Boys to win. I'm fucking okay with that, actually.
I think it's the right move. I'm not over the Acclaimed yet. Like I think
I'm not. I'm over the Ass Boys versus the Acclaimed fucking storytelling thing.
Yeah,
that arc.
I think that I think we're at the end of Act 2 going into Act 3 with it. I don't think it's over yet. I think the Acclaimed
goes to Revolution.
And I think the Acclaimed will take the titles back. I think that's what they're doing with that move. It's either that or they're setting up, like an FTR again, I guess, or something like that. But I don't.
So we didn't talk about this, and I mentioned it to you. But for the trios, make it fucking FTR and Mark Briscoe. And
the way
let
to
them
go.
be the trios champions.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a really good shout.
And either call a Ring of Honor pay-per-view Reach for the Sky or call their fucking tag team Reach for the Sky.
Both work. You could literally do both, and I'm okay with that. Mark, I love Mark Briscoe too on the mic.
What did you think about this? God, we're so all over the place.
I know we are.
What did you think? What did you think about this, Mark Briscoe on Rampage?
Loved it.
Me too. I fucking loved it.
And I think that it, it doesn't necessarily give us a ton of direction with Mark. Like we didn't get any questions answered about what's happening with the Ring of Honor tag team titles or anything like that.
Introduced this character more to the fans who maybe have just learned and now this is the opportunity, but you don't intensely go in too fast, too hard. You let him do the slow roll, natural build.
And even with the Mark Sterling stuff, it worked. Like the Mark Sterling stuff, that guy has his place. He is a perfect little buffer sometimes to kind of get someone into a feud or get someone I kind of liked what was going on with that. I've heard this thrown around, and I don't mind the idea of it. Put the Ring of Honor World Championship on it.
I don't hate that either.
I think that's what you do. I don't think that you
make him part of a new tag team. Then retire the World Tag Team titles. And then you just bring in the Ring of Honor tag team titles and you drop the world from it.
Exactly. Change the name just a touch. And those are legacy belts now. But I do think he could be an amazing flag bearer for that brand. And the people that are obviously aware of the situation and know about it and know him, would be all about it. And let's think about this. Who's the champion right now? Took me a minute.
Audio.
Yeah, but it did take me a second to think, like, who is well, we haven't really seen anything with that, right? Like, we haven't.
No, he's like teaming with Yuta.
Exactly. So wouldn't it be better? Like, I love Claudio, and I think it's great that he's been honored in this way as that champion, but wouldn't it make more sense to have Mark Briscoe with that belt right now? Because I contend it would.
Probably.
Like, at least in a month or two. Like,
yeah,
whenever their next
you
pay-per-view
can't pull
is.
the trigger right
Don't do it this second. Build him up in that right way. But I think that's the way you go with Mark Briscoe. I dare say they will. I think that makes total sense to me.
Does make sense, yeah.
Let's go back to Joe and Darby, though. It was
violent.
It was, yeah.
That's like the best word I can come up with.
I didn't really expect that they were gonna do what they did, but it felt right too.
It did,
right?
Like when it happened, it felt. It was shocking because I wasn't expecting it, but I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it at all, and I think that goes. I think we have to, and we have been over the last few weeks saying. Give some credit to the reconditioning of what Joe's been able to do. Like Joe
spark. There was like a piston in his engine or two that for some reason was not firing on all. He wasn't firing on all cylinders for me, right? And it was right before. It was like the week or two before, maybe the week right before Denver. Where I kind of was like,
we both saw it like, oh, there was something there.
And then in Denver, he fought Wardlow, and I was right there front right, and I was like, fuck, Joe's got his
back?
Swagger back. He's got his swagger back, and like,
I don't know, he does. He clicked it into that next gear, and boy, is that next gear
all pistons are firing. Yeah, it's fucking going. And it's an intense gear.
And I love it. It's really nice to see. You asked the question, I believe, here that is the match at Revolution going to be Sting's last? So what are you proposing that match is? Because they've said that, I mean, this is all. I mean, Sting could be lying, but he said he will not do a singles match, and I think.
Well, and did you see the promo?
Did I miss that? Maybe I missed that. Explain it.
Let me find the exact words, but there's a promo with him and Darby, and it was on Dynamite or Rampage last week. So let me find his exact...
I might have missed that, dude. I'm sorry.
Okay. So he says, like, it's going to be one for the ages or something, like, and then he repeats it and he, like, screams it. Like, this, or no, this is our last ride. Or, like,
Sting's promo.
Sting says this with Darby. They did one of their video things. Hold on.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah. You know, I might have. This might have been piss break for me, actually. If I'm being honest, I think I might have missed this for sure. Seems like I did.
So. That keeps popping up. All right, hold on. I'll find it. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Start talking about something. I'll listen and I'll talk. I'll search this.
Well, I'll be interested to see what they do, what Sting wants to do with his last match. Part of me wants it to just be one-on-one with Darby. Like they have like almost like a handshake match, like kind of a passing the torch type deal. You can like really solidify too, maybe even giving the what's Sting's submission hold called? God damn it, the Scorpion Deathlock. You can like maybe even like pass the torch and giving that move to Darby, which would be cool because he doesn't have a real good submission. That would like help him.
That's true.
Doesn't. That would really help like his game out.
I'd also kick that little fucker off me if he tried that shit.
True.
I'm just joking. All right, so he said, Damn it. All this stuff that happened. Forgot about all this stuff on Rampage.
I mean, there wasn't that much good stuff. It was.
No, there wasn't, but I was just like,
it was kind of a pretty lame show.
So he did say, okay, so I'm not gonna watch it, but Sting said we're gonna go out in a blaze of glory, and then he says he's like, we're gonna go out in a blaze of glory, and then he stops and he's like, we're gonna go out in a blaze. So he yells it and pronounces like announces it from the rooftops. Like Moses.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
That's what I'm wondering. Is this going to be it?
Well, it probably is. Who would Joe team with if you were throwing those
to have Sting? Who do you think Sting thinks
is worthy of the last match with? Yeah. And because you got to have. I mean, I'm thinking of like TNA guys too, like that. I mean, Joe works well for sure. Joe works really well. I just don't know who. If AJ Styles was in AEW, that would be the one, right? Like, but we don't have AJ Styles. Who do we have that fits that bill? I mean, and there's plenty of them. I'm sure. We're just not thinking. I mean, you could bring in. Oh, dude. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Sorry, I just figured it out.
Don't put it into the universe.
I'm going to, because it's probably what's going to happen.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
So it's going to be Sting and Darby versus Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy. That's it. The Jeff Hardy. Do
you want to get behind me and put your head behind my head when I put the gun in my mouth, or do you want to put the gun in your mouth and I get behind you? I'm good either way.
You know that's what might happen though.
Don't fucking do
it. You
it.
know that might happen. That dude. I mean, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I hope I'm wrong.
Jeff Hardy.
I hope I'm wrong.
Instead of that, I hope he starts coming out to like Bob Marley's Redemption song.
Oh God, with a stupid belt that he has for no reason that sort of looks like his face paint.
I hope he's sad Jeff Hardy, just like
let's do bum ass Hardy. Yeah,
bum ass Hardy. It's like he can't get face paint and shit. And
dude, he has to come down to the ring every time with a sample of urine. Like it's like his piss test, and there's a doctor there that has to like
fucking lean into
check it and like be like, okay, he's good tonight.
He's
and
good.
Like, yeah, I mean, at this point.
So there is, but he is gonna go out in glory. So I will say, I hope it's not, a blaze of glory, which blaze. What is blaze? Blaze.
He's
right?
telling us something there.
Used that
telling us something
specifically
there.
And then repeated blaze of glory. He like yelled blaze of glory.
Blaze of glory. Fire. I don't know, man.
I really don't know.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see. But it does make me think of two things. So one, not people who this could be, but blaze of glory reminds me of Swerve in Our Glory. And I want to say still, and I'll probably talk about it until it's done every week on this podcast, how much I hate Mogul affiliates. And I think that the affiliates should beat up the Mogul, if I'm interpreting shit correctly.
First off, you're wrong, because they're like the toughest stable, like, period, bro.
Did you see this thing with Dustin Rhodes this past week? So Dustin's there. He's like, he's being interviewed in a warehouse with his face paint on, like he's like, I don't know, like
he's been talking about Doritos a lot too. He's been talking about Doritos a lot.
Yeah, eating Doritos and like talking like he's like welding some shit in this warehouse for some reason.
Well,
but like, right, and wearing his face paint, and then he's like, and I would tell them they could do this at any time, and then he looks off camera and he goes, oh, what you want to do? Oh, you guys want to do this right here, huh? Right after he just said, I'll do this anywhere, anytime. And then he seems kind of scared saying this. And then the fucking affiliates, I assume. I hate both of them. And I think the dude who has all the tattoos on his face,
Yeah.
does he have a face tattooed on the back of his head? I think he has a face. I think he has a face tattooed on the back of his head.
He is a strange fella. He's a strange looking fella.
Dude, I stood right next to him, and I will tell you, I would never, whatever that dude told me to do, or I'd be like, yes, sir. I would really quickly submit, because I feel like that dude would just, like, he wouldn't just beat the shit out of me to kill me. He would, like, keep me hanging on because he's, like, kind of getting off on it.
This is why I think there's something actually cool about what they're doing. They're doing something different. And from what, like,
they got to turn on Swerve or something, though.
No. They're gonna become Swerve is kind of talked about this, hinted at this on various podcasts, his own, where he's basically saying that this group is like a sadistic horror faction, that they're actually like, there's a lot more to come. It's a lot more like gonna be real life.
Yeah, Black Bray Wyatt. I get it. I've heard it.
It is kind of Black Bray Wyatt, but what I think he's going with is something more like the Purge, right? Like it's like these guys are trying to cleanse like the. This is, I don't know.
The word cleanse. I just don't think.
Yeah, it probably can't do that.
It's not a good word.
No, it can't.
But also, I will say, to your point, I think they're like, yeah, the dude is scary. Parker Bordeaux, that he's like a husky. I'm not scared of that dude. Run him around the blocks a few times. That dude he's too tired to do anything. Then,
that's my friend. That's my friend.
Yeah, well, tell him to fuck off for me, will you?
All right. Well,
yeah, tell him straight from me.
I like him. That's my buddy.
All right. Well, you could grab his chain for him, straighten that thing out. It's constantly.
Oh yeah.
Maybe for Christmas, get him a counterweight, so it's always straight and he doesn't have to touch it.
Wait till he comes out in an Ohno wrestling t-shirt. You'll like him then.
Is that how that's your way of telling me I'm off the podcast?
Oh,
I see.
I mean, yeah. Well,
yeah.
It happens.
You get creative. You don't just fucking send a pink slip in the mail. But so I think that they would have to kind of like turn. I don't know. Fuck, where was I going with that? I had something.
I don't know what you want them to beat up Swerve and then the stable.
Oh, so I was gonna say, but what is it? Again, I still don't even understand if they're like this weird sadistic horror thing.
I don't know.
But
they haven't done a good. You're right in the sense though too.
The name
they haven't done a
doesn't
good
make
job.
sense.
Well, yeah, they
How
haven't.
can you be a mogul and an affiliate at the same time?
Yeah, it's counterproductive. Like it's one or the other. Like, are you the mogul?
Oxymoron.
Yeah, it's an oxymoron. You are correct.
That's why I refer to the two, Parker and this other guy who no one. What's his name?
Tap Man? That's what I call him.
I'm on AEW's website. I should just go to their roster.
I'm a Tat Man.
Yeah. Well, that guy, and then like they're the affiliates, I'm assuming, and Swerve is the mogul.
One would think. I don't know.
Just fuck off with that whole thing. For me, that's all I'm saying.
It could be a lot better.
Well, and hopefully, guess what? So many things change my mind in wrestling all the time. I hope they do, because I love to hate things and then I love to love them when they change my mind.
You got to wonder what they're building those three up for. Are they like basically just going to be sacrificial lambs to like an elite trios thing? I hope not, because that's not good for Swerve, and Swerve is way more,
But we haven't seen any of the other ones wrestle.
No, we haven't. Oh, I mean, no. Parker,
we've seen like a move or two, but
Parker has. Like,
not in AEW.
Oh yeah, tons. Yeah, just not on TV. He's done like tons of the elevation stuff or whatever, but not.
Okay, but yeah, let's talk but TV.
TV, you haven't seen him wrestle. No, you haven't.
Exactly. So
I don't know what they're
dark canon.
Well, and I don't know. I guess are they just gonna keep doing like more Top Flight stuff with the trios for a little bit, because they can for me. Like that was good.
I like Top Flight and AR Fox together. It looks like that other brother from Top Flight's wearing a brace on his knee, though. It doesn't look very safe with what he's doing.
AR Fox is really like a standout new guy for me. Like I love what they're doing with AR Fox. Here's a weird thing that I thought of. Put AR Fox and Eddie Kingston together somehow. I don't know why, but I know that they're actually friends. And I just weirdly think that there might be something like cool there. Just throwing it out there. But I do like Top Flight and AR Fox. And I think that guy, like, he might even, like, he would be great for an Atlantic Championship type run. Right? Like, have, like, maybe not a TNT title or whatever. But I can see, throw something at him like that. Also, if you're not going to do the world title with Kingston, you got to put a belt on him at some point. I don't care what belt. You got to put something on him.
I don't think so. I think he likes not having a belt.
Nah, I think we need Kingston with a belt.
I think he likes not having a belt. Because it's something to keep him going. Can we really quickly talk about the Jade Cargill conundrum?
Oh,
that I have.
Yeah, I mean,
we've kind of talked about it, but the conundrum is this. Yeah, she's great. She's amazing. We like her. She's won 50 matches. Yet she's not in a main event picture and doesn't have any storylines or any interactions with any of the women on that side of the roster. And she's continued to do what? Blue Velvet or
Red Velvet
or Red Velvet and blue whatever. Like, she does these same we get it. So at what point do you stop with that? And what point does she go up and deal with these? And at what point do you make these other women, you use Jade to help elevate them as well? Even more so, because that could elevate the division, but she can't just beat all of them. She has to start losing at some point. When and how does that happen? Like,
they're waiting.
That's the conundrum. But she has to be up in the main event picture, I think, for it to happen, at least for me.
Well, they have to break the streak. They have to have the person to break the streak before she can be kind of go away for a little bit and come back in the main event.
Who did she take the title from?
No, she was the first winner. She's the only. She's the only one that had that TBS championship. She won the tournament. I believe.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, she's the first and only TBS champion. So realistically, I think they're waiting on Statlander. I think they're waiting on Statlander to be healthy, to come back, to be the one that takes that championship off.
And you gotta like build, like you gotta admit it's getting tiresome.
It's tiresome, and they've got to figure out a second person if Statlander like isn't going to be healthy enough to do it in, I would say, 3 months. Like, that's the time frame that you've got. And even that's dragging it, right? Like,
I would say if you're not doing something by Revolution,
why don't you do it with Athena right now? The only problem with that is, of course, Athena is heel right now. Jade is still a heel. You have to turn Jade like super babyface before that can happen. That ain't gonna happen. So you really need a good babyface. They don't have the right babyface to take it from her. Chris Statlander is kind of the one. They could have done it and should have done it. For some reason, they decided Toni Storm was a heel. And that's dumb as fuck.
It was really bad. You've talked about this, and I completely agree, especially watching her and Saraya.
If she was kept face, she would have been perfect to take the belt off of Jade. To then elevate Jade after like a couple months away, get her into the main, title event scene. I just don't know that they're confident enough with Jade's abilities yet. But she is still kind of a draw because look at her and that sort of she's a visual attraction.
I'm not hating on Jade in any way on this. I'm just saying, I think she needs to elevate more because it's kind of she has no one left to beat at the level. She's
It is
beaten them
boring
all.
now. It is boring now. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, do you do Saraya? You could do Saraya taking
She's
it.
teaming with Tony now. And
Yeah.
also, no, because she's not good.
And a heel.
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of a heel at this point.
They're both So you mentioned
Ruby?
it when you
Ruby? Could you do Ruby?
No, Ruby would get squashed by Jade. It's not believable.
I mean, I still say it's Willow. Willow would be the right person right now.
Willow would be great.
Willow is probably what you should do. And then, yeah, it's kind of like a fluke victory. You can have a back and forth even if you want to, or you can just send Jade away for a little bit.
Or
and
even
bring her
let
back
fucking
into me.
Britt take it.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I don't hate it, but it at least gives you like Britt.
I don't like Britt beating Jade as like the first person to beat Jade, but I can see her winning it down the line. I like that. I still think Willow is the right person. Like that's what I would do with the Jade card.
Well, it's a conundrum.
No, that's what I
call it the JCC.
Yeah. Do you want to do a little bit of, chamber predictions as we wrap this thing up for the evening here? I think we probably should.
What title do you think Jungle Boy's going after? He said he was going after. He's like, oh, I've done the.
He's got to be all Atlantic.
That's what I'm thinking too.
He's got to be all. He's gonna.
A couple other quick thoughts. Kip Sabian's getting a lot of TV time, so I don't know if he's Tony Khan's new plug or whatever. What happened to the paper bag thing?
I don't know.
A couple other things.
I want
we didn't
more
talk about
from.
the MJF
I want
match
more
at
from.
all. We talked about the promo. The match was really good.
I want more from Kip, and here's what I would even welcome right now, if it were to do something to get him on TV. Bring back Kip and Miro somehow. In a weird, like they could be completely different, but they have,
never coming back.
I don't think he is either. Yeah, it sucks. I want more from Kip though. I like Kip.
Well, I'm saying he's getting a lot of TV time, and from what I've read recently, Tony only gives TV time to people who are drawing, so he must have been doing things previous that I was not aware of. Also, we talk a lot about Mox taking breaks.
Oh yeah.
I did before we did it.
Yeah.
So I did. I read this article and I wanted to, and it caught my eye, and I did want to mention it just because we've talked about it so many times. Like, he's gonna take a vacation, and
sooner or later he has to,
right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you have more blood? I don't know. So Mox he was talking to the Justin Kinner show. Don't know who that is. But he was talking about why he doesn't take a break from wrestling. And he said, quote, if I were smart, I would try to get the most amount of money for the least amount of work possible. But believe it or not, in professional wrestling, I used to do it well, if I were smart, I'd do it for the most money possible for the least amount of work possible. But believe it or not, in professional wrestling, I used to do it on purpose and for free. And still do it because I enjoy it. And then do a couple of random shoulder shrugs and things and say, it's recreation.
Let me try and give you my Moxley. Let me see if I can do it better than you. Like, oh yeah. Well, if I were smart, I'd get the most amount of money, for the least amount of work possible. But believe it or not, in professional wrestling, I used to do it on purpose for free. And still do it because I enjoy it. You know how he does. Like,
Yo, I know we were going full Mox. Hold on, and
scene. Sorry.
It's recreation. Yeah. What else are you gonna do with your time? It's the coolest job in the world, and I think that's the coolest.
I mean,
answer
yeah,
in the
whatever. What
world.
else you gonna do with your time? You know?
What else are you gonna do with your time? It's the coolest fucking job in the world, kid.
Yeah. Coolest job in the fucking world. Oh, that's our Moxley.
And when you're the center of it, gotta be it.
So he's not taking a break anytime soon. Still,
Ever.
He's fine. He's got his wife on the road with him now. You know,
Yeah, kind
so
of.
he's probably pretty happy. You think? They must take the kid too, right? They probably take.
I would
the
think
kid.
so.
Yeah.
They've got it all worked out.
Should we do a little bit of Elimination Chamber 2023
Yeah, I gotta
predictions?
pull up the card.
Yeah, it's only 4 matches, man. It's not like you're let me refresh because maybe something happened on my 5 matches now because I guess Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar was added today on Monday Night Raw.
We knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, we did. I'm glad hopefully it's just happening here and not again at Mania.
I hope that too.
Yeah, hopefully this is like the end of that. So,
Then what does Brock do at Mania?
I know people have tried to say that this isn't happening, Meltzer included, and that it's gonna be, Gunther, Sheamus, Drew for the IC, but I really do hope that they just see what the because there's been a ton of fan reaction, especially with their interaction at the Rumble for Gunther Brock. At Mania, I think that would fucking kill. You don't, if you really want to make Gunther too. Just saying.
It's the show of shows.
I feel like it would be a great way to do it. And you could still make it a 3-way, but I think what you do is Gunther, Brock, Drew in a 3-way. Because Drew and Brock still have that beef. And that could be the way that you get Gunther out of it without taking a pin and retaining his belt.
Thing with Sheamus now.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we've got 5 matches. Why don't we just start it off? Well, first off, we need to acknowledge this.
Yeah. Knowledge.
The belt is vacant as Duncan has not made enough appearances on the radio show or
Happened to me, man.
You
It
know?
happened to me. He's not the first. I was the first.
So the belt is up for grabs, which means that no one has championship advantage, which is, that means it could go to either one of us right now. That really changes the odds, yes, sir. So yeah, Duncan he's not it. It's just me and you, man. We're both gunning for this title. And we got I guess we'll just do the men's Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship. Now, in years past, this match used to not be for the United States Championship, but also was kind of like the Royal Rumble, right? Where it would get you that was like the second main event.
We get you something for Mania.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like that's the case this year. It's just for the United States Championship.
Just for bragging rights, maybe.
Well, and that championship. But we got Austin Theory, the champion, versus Seth frickin' Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. First off, I kind of love the lineup.
It is a good lineup. Well, I'm going to be honest, dude. Gargano's done nothing for me on the main roster.
It's sad that it's mostly his presentation. Triple H has not got that one right, unfortunately. His presentation hasn't been good. It's not like Johnny Gargano isn't an amazing wrestler,
I don't.
though.
But I also don't think you can just put that on creative. You have to put that on the wrestler too.
I don't know, when you're making him wear a fucking cowboy hat and do dumb shit like that with dancing on the tape. I don't know.
I mean, that also means don't have anything. Your character might not be interesting enough to do anything else with.
Fair.
Right? I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. Bronson Reed, though.
I mean, they presented him as a big monster.
They did force this pretty quick.
I don't like him very much, to be honest. Like, he's not. I don't know. I've not really.
I mean, he is what he is. I'm not gonna say he's like he's not horrible for like a big dude. He reminds me of a Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Well, he's
like,
a not.
Much.
Well, he's a fatter, not as good Jeff Cobb.
Well,
I
mean, you're still in the same sentence as Jeff Cobb, so kudos.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick my pick straight off the bat, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Austin Theory retains. I think that it's the smartest pick. I'd love to see Montez Ford with that belt.
I know.
I think that's
I'd
what
also like to see Damian Priest take it, just because Judgment Day.
I'd be okay with either of those beyond anybody else. Seth does not need that belt. Seth needs
especially
to be
especially if you're gonna do Seth Logan.
That belt does not need to be on Seth. That's why I go with Austin Theory as my safe pick, I think. And
all right, my safe pick. Also, I will say, we have to do a Rochambeau. For if we have the same pick. Can we talk about this right now?
Okay.
I think this is fair. If we have the same picks for these 5 matches, then we Rochambeau, and then the loser of Rochambeau has to change one, and then the other one can choose to
I don't know what
or...
actually Rochambeau means.
Oh, it's rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I literally didn't know that.
Oh, Rochambeau.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
So we'll have to rock, paper, scissors. If we got all the same picks, then we rock, paper, scissors.
And then whoever one loses of us has to.
All right. Fair. That's fair.
Okay.
So who you going with?
Because I'm going Theory too.
You're going Theory. All right.
Yeah, because it's like between the two of us, and I think when you have a card that has such few matches,
exactly,
going into Mania, which we've been watching and paying attention to. I mean, yeah.
Well, we'll go simple then, just straight off the bat, because I think we're both definitely gonna pick that Roman beats Sami Zayn. I'm going with Roman clearly.
Yeah, I'm going with Roman too.
So we can get that one out the way. We kind of even have discussed all the reasons why previously on the episode. Like, we don't necessarily need to go into that. Edge, Beth Phoenix versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Ripley.
They have to. Ripley needs to maintain the fucking strength going into Mania.
So you're going with Judgment Day on this one?
Yep.
Okay. Edge and Phoenix.
Nice. All right. We don't even need to Rochambeau.
No, I think that Rhea can still look strong whilst Edge pins Finn Balor to win the match. Because otherwise, what are you doing with Edge?
Just go away.
I mean, I kind of wish he would.
I mean, in a perfect world, right?
Yeah. Let's do Women's Elimination Chamber. Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, and Carmella. For
Carmella, obviously.
Oh. It's for a Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. So I guess to face essentially, Bianca Belair.
I mean, it's out of all of these, it's Asuka or Liv, and I think with her new presentation, it's probably Asuka.
You say that, but I think Raquel Rodriguez is being presented pretty strongly as well right now. I don't think
You're not wrong.
I don't think she's ready. and I don't
think she's ready for Mania.
No. It's Asuka Liv.
Natalia's like, I've been ready.
Yeah.
They're like,
have you seen her new condom hats? She's wearing these weird little condom hats.
No, but she's always doing something sexual.
It's stupid. She's wearing these stupid little hats. I don't like them. I'm going to go Asuka.
Fuck, I'm going Asuka too.
I mean, it's because, like you said, that new presentation, which was rad, by the way.
Did you see the one the other day that had the little red nose, like Pennywise?
I don't think I did. She
put a little tiny red nose on it, and she had the thing, and it was like soup. It was all Pennywise. It was pretty cool.
I just like when it was the Carmella. That was what it was. Carmella had that return interview when she's backstage, and then Asuka just shows up out of nowhere, but she's not in the makeup. But then she's standing, she's standing there as Carmella's like, I'm back, I'm Mella Money, whatever the fuck she's doing. And Asuka kind of just shows up, doesn't really say much of anything or anything, and then has the blue kind of like goo. She smiles and like lets it drip out of her mouth.
I missed that whole thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That's why I thought Carmella came out of nowhere.
No.
Not that I was like super waiting on Carmella to return. I just thought it was weird that they were like, oh, look, she's back ringside. I was like, what? Like,
fair.
Yeah, sorry.
Next we've got the match that I guess that we just had announced today. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one because you can argue that
Bobby needs it more.
Bobby does need it more. Lesnar can lose. Will he? Did he actually go off script at the Rumble when he was like trashing the announcer's table?
I don't know. I'm going Bobby. Bobby. I'm going Bobby, baby.
It's not for anything, right?
It's for nothing. It just says singles match.
All right. Well, because you got another one, I'm going to be competitive. We're not even going to have to Rochambeau. I'm going to go Lesnar.
Okay.
Heart of hearts, I feel Lashley, but I'm going Lesnar. God damn it, it's Mania. Lashley needs it.
But what does Lashley do at Mania? No idea. Something with the Hurt Business? See, that's what I think.
What does he do?
Yeah. What would he do at Mania? What would Lashley do at Mania at the moment?
Other than win?
Well, who does he face?
Wait, I thought it was Lashley Lesnar.
No, I'm asking what he would do at Mania at this point.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Fuck.
I don't.
Yeah, all right. I'm going Lesnar. They're gonna redo it at Mania.
It's not a bad bet. It's actually probably smarter than mine. So you got we got Austin Theory, Roman. You got Judgment Day. I got Edge and Beth Phoenix, Asuka for both of us, and then I got Bobby and you got
Beth
Lesnar.
Phoenix
so
is scary Jack, dude. When she's got that hair teased, she's scary Jack.
I don't think I'm a fan of her.
I'm not at all, but she's scary jacked.
One thing.
She looks like she like yells a lot.
I don't think that Edge has a super pleasant home life. I feel like
I don't know, did you see him grabbing her butt?
She's got some Karen tendencies, I think that there's definitely some stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Malakai Black named Asuka as a dream opponent. Think about that as a intergender match and how fucking much it would rule.
Be really good.
Apparently they've even talked about it. Like from their time in WWE, They've actually mentioned like what they would do, how they would structure. Like they've already got a match in their heads. Malakai Black and Asuka. Whew. I'd love to see that. Should we just like?
Do you think that's like if you're all right? So if you're what's her name? Malakai's wife,
Zelina Vega.
Zelina Vega. If you're her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you like hear this. Like I read what you said you would do with Asuka in the ring.
Oh, is
Like,
she jealous?
Do you think it becomes, or like if a guy, like a woman's like, yeah, I would fucking wrestle Matt Cardona. I'd let him do whatever he wants to me in the ring. Husband's like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, is that sacred ground?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know either. Like, so you you guys have talked about it, so you've already cheated on me. Okay.
Well, no.
Okay.
What if Zelina really wants a match with Asuka, but Asuka's more interested in doing a match with Malakai?
Oh,
is Zelina now like? Oh, you know, he'll get a match. Oh, okay. Like you won't give me a match, but he gets the match. You know, like does she get jealous in that regard?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, they might. I never thought about it like that, but that's
like
a good
these
point.
Relationships might be more complicated than we think.
I don't know. Maybe they're just professionals.
It might be more than whatever. I don't know. It might be more or less than whatever Total Divas was telling us.
I would love it if intergender wrestling could make it more into the mainstream, and that's a prediction that I have that will happen within the next like 5 to 10 years. I think that we will see that shift. It's been so prevalent on the indies. We're getting so close with mixed matches and what have you. I think it will happen. I think
let's just do it. There's fucking balloons that we don't know what there are. We're shooting down everywhere all of a sudden. Like, just do it.
It's pro wrestling. It's perfectly safe if it's done just in the same way if it was two men, two women.
If the performers trust each other, it's like ballroom dancing or ballet or like fucking stunts at like Universal or fucking Disney or Cirque or something. Like, it doesn't matter what gender or race or whatever the fuck you are. If you are a trained professional and you work with other trained professionals and you choose to trust each other, then you should be able to do it. That transcends any fucking whatever the fuck you think makes us different, because at the core we're all the fucking same anyway. We just choose to fight about it on the outside.
How is it any different than Marco Stunt versus Lance Archer?
Exactly.
How is it any different than that?
How is it any different than Darby Allin versus fucking anyone?
Right. Exactly. Like it can be done. It can be done safely. Oh man, it's just one of those things I had to bring up. I got a couple more quick little things. Have you heard of this AEW team, or it's an indie team that have been popping up on AEW Dark and Elevation?
The Outrunners?
The Outrunners, man.
Goddamn right. So here's the deal. So I actually saw them on Rampage, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. And then earlier this week on a group chat with good brother Jay Jansen from the group.
Oh, he knows. Is he a fan? I bet you he's a fan.
Keith, who I think was in the group. I don't know.
Okay.
But he can come back in anytime. Just saying. But regardless, we were on a group text and Jay sent this. And I was like, fuck, dude. I thought these guys were jobbers last week on Rampage. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I was like, fuck, I thought these guys were jobbers. And he sent me the promos and everything. Fucking love them.
They're awful. They're so terrible. They're great. Like
dude. These guys are Gumption Junction.
They
good.
Are. Yes, they're Gumption Junction good.
Yes, they cut I'm glad you approved.
Oh, dude, and their names. If you haven't seen these guys, look up the Outrunners. Their names too are Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Like
goddamn right they are.
Goddamn, fucking such good names.
Yeah, I would not ever fucking expect anything less.
The fucking
Truth
outrunners.
Magnum.
Truth Magnum. And man, there's some good mullet action, good facial hair
amazing.
action.
And the mullet action has a good like the darkness is growing out from like the sideburns and side up, and the rest is all bleached. It's done real well. And it's like with the mustache, the way they did it, it's almost like a southpaw type thing.
It might as well be southpaw. I think,
right? I love it. I fucking am here for it.
I think
100%.
even MJF actually tweeted about them, was like, now these are pro wrestlers. I want to say he did.
I really hope he did.
I think it was, if not, it was somebody that like you would never guess that did it. I'm pretty sure it was MJF, and I'm super stoked about that. Speaking of Twitter, one of my last things that I want to bring up, I like to bring up a good wrestling Twitter account to follow every show.
Yeah.
Like if you're on Twitter and you need something good to follow.
I'm all right here. Now every time you do this, I'm going to go to Twitter Live and follow them.
This one is for all of you perverts out there. This one is...
Wait, hold on. Let me turn my VPN on.
I don't think you need to do that, but it's at Naughty WWE.
I think I've seen this one actually.
And you'll stumble upon some great screenshots, usually of Rhea Ripley's ass or some other female wrestler's ass.
I think I saw an art. Did you get this from an article?
No, I've just been it's just been in my feed.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, you'll get and they talk like they'll be like whoever writes it is a complete scumbag, because he'll be like, oh, so and so's tits are just perfect. Like the wording, the verbiage is so disgusting. But
yeah, I don't think I can describe what I just saw.
What did you see? What did you see there?
I mean, I guess we could just hashtag Brit's lip.
Yep, those things happen on there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Naughty WWE. And it's
also, do you think that's just some random person like sending that to them, or maybe they like look for it because that's what they do? Or like, do you think they like slow down the action?
Oh, that's what they do. That's what it is.
Fuck off.
Some complete dirtbag that's slowing things down to find
dirtbag.
Yeah, total dirtbag stuff. Oh yeah. I'm not saying I'm proud that I follow this one, but
no, but I'm also not saying like the women aren't beautiful, because they are.
Because they are. That's the thing. Yeah.
But like slowing it down to like see micro muscle movements. What is this video of Becky Lynch getting into a cage? It's not even sexy. Down.
I mean, they're just kind of looking at her butt, I think. And just like, hey,
they kind of just went straight to her back, and it's covered in.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't answer everything here.
No, I mean that one's weird. The rest of them, I see.
There you go.
There's Alexa.
See, yeah, well.
Yep. But also, yeah, poor Alexa. So one, I think she was going away, and
then she wasn't, and then she is,
and then the Uncle but like that was the weird thing. We didn't talk about this before we go. With the Pitch Black Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, whichever way you say it. They did that, and then like Uncle Howdy did it looked like he just jumped, but it was supposed to be an elbow drop.
Yeah, he just
dropped
missed him by
LA
like
Knight.
8 miles. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, fuck. I heard him say it earlier today.
Yeah.
And I fucking nailed it like 3 times in a row. And I told myself, I'm going to come on the podcast and I'm going to nail this. And now I can't.
It's tough.
Do it.
It's hard to do. It's actually.
I'm going to listen to it next time before this. I'm going to do it.
I could probably do it.
So, but then they did. Uncle Howdy flopped off that, or fell, or elbow dropped. Then they did the match with Alexa Bliss at Rumble, and he showed up.
Yeah.
In the like vignette,
None of
which
that
was
made
like
any
really
sense.
weird.
that whole
and now she may be going away for a while.
now she's disappearing for a bit
because none of this makes sense.
I feel like part of it is due to how popular the Sammy Bloodline stuff's going on, and they're just like, you know what? We don't need this right now. Let's keep this off TV. Let's do something with Uncle Howdy like in a couple weeks because it has to be gone for a little bit. It's not doing well. They've got to tweak this thing to make it right.
The only thing I can think of one thing, Owen, can you think of one thing that we've talked about tonight that would make all of this Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt thing make sense?
Okay.
Alexa Bliss, everything adjacent or not adjacent or however they want to talk about it. One thing, because I know we talked about one thing that could be the culmination of this story. It's the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match.
Well, I mean, it probably is. It's probably...
Don't you think at Mania they do a Cinnamon Toast Crunch match somehow?
With Bray and Uncle Howdy and Alexa and...
One of them cinnamon, one of them sugar, one of them's graham cracker.
We bring
And
back...
they all combine to one.
Bring back Eric Rowan. He's got that red head like thing. He's the cinnamon, right? Like he's part of, he's the
cinnamon red. I thought it was brown.
Oh well, I don't know. And it's close. It's reddish brown. It's
Sarah Logan's in the Viking Raiders.
Don't like any
promos.
of that. Don't like any of that shit. Like that's her name is Valhalla, I believe, and all of it is crap. No one cares about the Viking Raiders.
Can I be honest with you? I'm not a big you know how people get into Vikings and stuff?
No,
not a thing for me.
Not really either.
I don't judge the people that get into it, but I
mean I do.
Hey, if you're into what you're into,
no,
man, as
I'm
long
kidding.
as you're not hurting anyone or fucking demeaning them or
I don't get it either, really.
But I'm allowed to say I don't get it. The same way they wouldn't get things I'm into.
Well, and that gimmick is not getting over in the slightest. Once again, they've kind of this is the third iteration of the Viking Raiders experience, whatever, and it hasn't worked ever on the main roster. They should have just been kept as War Machine. And done what they did in all sorts of parts of the world, including Japan, before they came to NXT. That is what they need to be, not this kind of Viking dumbass bullshit.
I agree. No, I lost it.
That's fine.
End of the podcast. I'm a little drunk, little stoned.
Me too. What do you think, real quick? Oh, that we definitely haven't talked about Jay White being kicked out of Japan, and we should, because there were a lot of rumors. If you haven't heard, he had a match with, first off, his contract was rumored to be ending with New Japan, and we kind of all have heard about that. Then, he has a match that was basically career for leave Japan match type deal, one of them. Well, he lost, so he's got to leave Japan, is what it sounds like.
I like how the wrestling stipulation is you have to leave Japan.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure that was the
company. You gotta get the fuck out of the country.
Wasn't it? I think that's what it was, though.
Yeah, it's I don't give a fuck where you go, but you are not allowed in Japan. No, and also put an alert.
You're not allowed to even work for another promotion outside of here. I think that's what it was. If I might have misinterpreted that.
No, I think it may have been, but when you think about that stipulation, you're like,
get the fuck out of here.
You're like, oh, wait, the government's involved in this stipulation.
Which means he's coming to America in some fashion or form. Now, this could be...
And or possibly coming back to New Japan at some point.
So I think it's probably he's gonna be the face of New Japan Strong or whatever they're doing to kind of invent that. That's what I'm thinking is probably gonna happen.
100%. That's where he fits in.
Yep.
That's where he can build more, and it is the best possible move. We already saw what happened in AEW. It
Didn't
did not
work.
really
Didn't
go over
work.
as well as it should have, but he has the ability to make it go over later if he does this work in New Japan Strong, or maybe Ring of Honor if you want to do a Ring of Honor thing. Like, you could make that work. I think you could make that work.
Yeah.
But WWE, way fucking out of the question.
Dude, that's the
AEW,
thing. And
out of the question.
but
those two are fucking out of the question for me.
But WWE was one of the rumors a couple.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not
I
gonna happen.
don't think it's gonna happen. But people still think it might. That there's actually.
I don't think I trust
I don't
anything
know.
anymore that I hear.
I don't
Like, it's
either.
all-
But where the hell would he even fit in WWE?
Nowhere.
Like I can't.
Absolutely. Just look at the
He d-
landscape.
It didn't work, and the landscape didn't work for him in AEW. It's certainly not gonna work.
100%. If it didn't work for him in AEW, it didn't work there. But he could do a New Japan Strong, which would be the best of the two, second best of the two. He does something in AEW, which we already said, and I would still stand to. I would attest that Mark Briscoe should take that title. I don't think.
Yeah, I
Jay
think
White
that's the right way
in
to
that
go.
picture. But you could bring him in later, possibly for a Mark Briscoe Jay White feud, and I might not hate that.
Oh, that could work. That could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could absolutely work, but
I'm just talking out loud here.
but not right now. Let's do before we we got to wrap things up, but let's do how about we do this? How about we do a female version round of Smelly or Not Smelly?
Oh shit, I had males. Okay.
All right. Let's do a oh, you already got one? Are they related to anything? Do you want to do Smelly? You can do the Smelly Not Smelly.
I just had two family members.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
They're both male.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I hear him.
Arn Anderson,
Uh-huh.
Brock Anderson.
Arn smells worse than Brock. Arn smelly, Brock not smelly.
Brock is smelly, but he's very aware of it, so he's covering it up a lot. There's a lot of fragrance around him.
No, Arn doesn't care that he smells. Like, he knows he smells, doesn't care.
Yeah, dude, he'll put his fingers in it and smell those fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
real man. Yeah.
All right.
We got that covered.
All right, card women.
Okay. Medusa, Aja Kong. Who smells better?
Kong.
I feel like Kong smells better too.
I think she does too. I think she's got some serums and some rose water or petal, you know what I'm saying? She does a little mist down. I think she's got a light, rosy, pleasant petal smell to her.
I feel like
Alondra
Blaze Medusa has always struck me as that white woman that smells that you see at Kmart. There's something she's a little funky. I feel
you're definitely funky. In those creases, shit ain't been scrubbed in a minute. That's where the funk comes. You might get in the shower and scrub off the outside, but you're not quite getting in, so that stank.
How about what do you think? You think China? What do you think about China? Smelly.
I think she probably.
I think she's smelly. I think she was smelly. I think she was probably smelly.
You're right.
I think she was smelly. If I'm thinking, yeah, she was smelly.
All right, Lita.
Smelled a bit like cigarettes, but beyond the cigarettes, okay. Not too smelly.
Beyond the cigarettes, there's a lotion smell.
Yeah. It was that.
Okay.
Remember the girls? They used the kiwi cucumber.
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be it. That would be it. Trish Stratus.
Amazing. She smells like
Amazing.
heaven.
Oh,
She
fuck
smells
it.
like heaven.
Oh,
She
yeah.
smells like heaven.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
always been heaven.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of the peak of like the human evolution.
Vicky
think.
Guerrero. I think she smells good, actually. I think she'd probably smell very nice.
I think she wants me to think she smells good.
I think she smells quite nice. I feel like she would smell quite nice, Vicky Guerrero. What about?
All right, Shayna Baszler.
Wears
Axe body spray.
No. She wears she wears men's sandalwood cologne, like a real, you know.
It's like a weird, like hippie musk.
Yeah. Like it's not bad, but you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like you're like it's sandalwood. And you're like it smells like patchouli, and you're like it's sandalwood.
Okay, whatever you say there, Sheena. Whatever. Yeah, but not terrible. I can tolerate it. It's not full patchouli. Yeah, not full patchouli.
All right. I got two for you.
Two more. Let's go.
I'll give them to you in a row.
Let's do it.
One after the other.
Yeah.
Tamina, Nia Jax.
Oh man. Okay.
I think Nia Jax actually probably smells better than Tamina because I think Tamina is just a hardworking woman. She's willing to put in the grind. She's like, guess what? Sometimes fucking deodorant doesn't cover it up. I think Nia Jax just always smells like fake fragrant florally. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like it's just like a perfumey, like fragrance. Like
yeah,
you go in, there's like
probably
potpourri
right.
or something.
You're probably right.
Like,
I think
Tamina's just like, listen, I put deodorant on, I fucking like whatever, I did my shit, like it came out.
Tamina doesn't smell like nothing. And that's what I kind of like. Tamina doesn't smell like nothing. She's just like, you know.
I like that.
Yeah. I'll go. I think Tamina wins that one.
Tamina wins that.
Tamina wins that. Like she's not overdoing it with the, the constant body sprays and spritzes and things like the scented lotions and whatnot.
Yeah. I think Nia Jax is. Well, rose water spritzes.
Yeah, she's all day that. Yeah, she is. That's yeah. I'm not a monster.
No, you're a monster.
Yeah, you're a monster.
I am a monster.
I guess it seems like though, thankfully, that she is not. It doesn't seem like she's like employed on the regular basis with the WWE here, right?
I hope not.
It seems like that was just a one-time thing. Royal Rumble pop up, like
and if that
everybody attacked her, kicked the shit out of her. She threw.
If that was a one-time thing, they did it right.
Yeah.
I will give them that.
Yeah, they did.
I will give them that. Again, we'll give WWE credit, and they've been getting a lot of credit because they've been doing a lot of shit right. Also, okay, so I was going to say this, and I fucking forgot about it because I was stoned, but I'm going to say it now. Whoever's writing the, we were talking about two storylines. We were talking about the Bloodline storyline, and then after that, we talked about some other storyline.
Oh, we got, Bloodline with Cody and Sammy. There's so many different.
No, there was like, it was like some. Oh no, I think it was the Judgment Day one.
Sure.
Because it was like you kind of have like Edge and Beth Phoenix who kind of have like, because Elimination Chamber with Ripley and Dom, this thing, and then like you have Finn Balor and Edge. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like who's writing that? And who's writing the other shit? And then it's very apparent what's working. So like,
give the people.
How are you not being like, all right, hey guys, I know this, but like, can you just take what they're doing and just
try and do something like that?
We'll give you a little more money. Just fucking like work a couple extra hours. Like, can you spin this into gold or like silver? Spin it into silver. We'll get into gold a few weeks later. Like, because I think there are a few things in WWE that had potential and then they just kind of lost it. The things that they've nailed, they have fucking nailed, which have kept me actually tuning in and watching and making it more must see. Maybe not like SmackDown. I'm not watching it Friday night, but I'm watching it Saturday morning.
Or
right?
at least catching some clips or like,
I'm definitely like paying I'm paying attention to the show, like what happened. But there has to be something, I think, in the business structure of something. Whoever is producing and involved in booking this and then doing that and it's working, then you see these other things. You can't just say like, well, just keep letting them do that. Like, at what point do you say like, hey, you guys are fucking killing this. What would you do? And do you think it's a level that's directed at a creative level where
how do we replicate? How do we replicate that? How do we?
Or Triple H or someone is like saying like, "Hey, look at what they're doing," and like do this. Or do you think these other writers are being like, "Hey, you guys are crushing it. Can you help us?"
I mean, how
does that work?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
I don't know how writing rooms work.
But you also stumble onto gold sometimes, right? Because we know that this whole Sammy thing was not intended to last as long in the writing room as what it ended up doing. So it's the adaptability that I think that has changed since Vince to Triple H. That they're like, oh, okay, this thing is actually working. Let's go with this or go with that.
Yeah,
like let's focus on what's actually working. And I think that is probably like going to be a culture shock for some of the guys that have been there for a long time that have like, oh, we're writing this story that's doing this for the longest time, be that the Viking Raiders, whatever the hell's going on or whatever, I don't know what, that those stories could be, but realistically, it feels like to me that it's more adaptable right now. Let's just hope that they have learned from how well like fans have responded to this Sammy thing, how well the fans have responded to this whole saga of, the Bloodline. Now it did have, let's not forget, it started like real strong and it had some ups and downs where I remember people were out of it.
High right now,
they've
built
kept
the stakes,
doing it right.
They have built a monument.
Yeah,
legitimately. Like this will go down as one of the best, if not the best, wrestling storytelling ever.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Hands down ever, and it will be. I would be surprised if it's in the next decade that you have someone take a run as long as Roman Reigns.
And that's why I think that they're going to keep it going through Mania because he can beat Bruno's. Yeah, I think
because
he
can.
Well, and I think he can beat Bruno's like
and you
record.
Need, and if you want to sell WWE at a peak pinnacle, you sell it at record-breaking, not only sponsorship selling, fucking gate revenues, fucking all of these things, but also record-breaking superstar at number one right here, right now. Primed also to go with links to contracts to us to make money off the back ends of everything he does beyond this in perpetuity forever.
And will also then be able to transition into Hollywood as a bigger star after doing it. Why wouldn't they want Roman Reigns to continue this run? I don't think Cody wins this at Mania. That's like my hot take for the week.
All right.
But that being said, it is time that we rock and roll out of let me throw on the Tony. There we go. Dude, it was a pleasure hanging out with you, Matthew. That was a fantastic show that the people have gotten from us. I mean, I dare say some of the finest wrestling analysis that you can find on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're sorry you had to wait 2 weeks, but aren't you glad you waited?
aren't you glad you did? You got to hear about the Outrunners and Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. I wish we could have talked. I mean, we should do a whole show on those
We
guys.
should.
And we should definitely do a whole show on, what was that one thing we were talking about doing?
I know. I was just about to write it down. I was going to ask you, but I don't know. I'll listen back. I'll figure it out.
Now we've forgotten what it was. But we will be doing, I think more content that you can find on the Ohno Radio Show Patreon, which we tie it all together. It's, it's Ohno Wrestling, but it's all Ohno Radio Show and, part of Ohno Media. And yeah, you can find everything if you want to support us over at patreon.com/ONRS. That's where you can donate an extra couple bucks. And that's where we can, of course, deliver you some extra bonus content. Don't forget to follow us, of course, in our very active, very fun, very informative Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Oh No Wrestling. 407-906-6466 if you ever want to leave us a voicemail message. Twitch.tv/ONRS Live. Did I miss anything, Matthew? Did I get them all?
I think you got it all except for that last.
Woo!